In 2020, right before the whole virus hit the world, I had my annual sports day. I was in grade 9, and this was a big moment, right? Because my entire life I've pretty much always failed at a sports day, but this time was going to be different. So I took part in a race called the relay race, which is you are a team of 4, 2 people on one side of the track, 2 people on the other side of the track, and then one has to run here, the other has to run here, and you do that until all 4 people have run the entire track. I was pretty anxious, like my heart was beating, and somehow I ran and we won the race, alhamdulillah. As soon as I was done, I see my father in the corner recording, and I'm just thinking, bro, this is gonna be epic. I look epic, me running, this is gonna look so good. With such excitement, I go to my father and I ask him to show me the video he recorded. But I see something disturbing. I see my stomach maximally bulging out of my shirt. You can pretty much see the outline. And it's wobbling up and down. That made me so insecure that I decided that this was the time of my life where I was gonna start working out. But I pretty much just messed around for the majority of the year until December 4th, 2020. That was the day I decided to give it all. This is what I looked like on December 4th, 2020. I was about 65 to 68 kilograms in this picture. And this is what I looked like in December 2021. A year apart, I was about 58 kilograms in this picture. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, right? I made a lot of mistakes, like a ton of mistakes during this time that we are going to talk about. But I just want to let you know that I've made this guide through mostly my experience and all the knowledge that I've accumulated from these people. I've put more than 10 hours into this guide, just thinking of how I could make this better for you. Just thinking, how could I give you the maximum amount of value so that you would, even if you did not watch any fitness videos after this one, you'll still be fine for your entire beginner phase, and you'll still make a crazy amount of gains. You'd make an even better transformation than I did. If watching all this fitness content has caused you paralysis by analysis, I feel you. I was in the same position when I started, and there's nothing worse than that, and it caused me to change up my workouts again and again and again. I thought I was constantly doubting if I was doing the right thing, because XYZ person was saying to do this, the other person was contradicting that person was contradicting both of them. So it was just a massive, it was a massive headache. But I have you covered. If you are 14 to 18, or even younger than that, or even older than that, it doesn't really matter. I just wrote teen because those are the people who I want to attract to this YouTube channel. If you're chubby and fat, or if you're skinny and lean, I got you, man. I'm positive that this guide will teach you everything, all the fundamentals you need to make amazing progress. I've said that probably like 3 times right now, but it's true. That's why I've said that. I've put a lot of hours into this, and I'm sure that inshallah you will make similar, if not better, progress than I did. I've also included 2 free workout programs. So not just routines, like programs that bring you from a beginner to close to intermediate progression. One is for home and one is for the gym. If you want to benefit from this guide, just do one thing. Watch it in order. Don't skip around. You can watch it 10 minutes at one time, 30 minutes at one time, whatever. Just make sure that you watch it in order. I've spent a lot of time just thinking about how I could structure this the best way possible so that I could benefit you as best as I can. Lastly, I want to thank Hamza for inspiring me to make this full guide. His full guides on discipline, willpower, and flow state have helped me so much. I felt like it was time for me to return the favor to my younger self, who was super into fitness, confused, wants to make progress, and just wanted one resource. So here is your first actionable step of the video. Close your eyes right now. I'm not going to do anything sus, don't worry. Close your eyes right now and do a mini visualization with me. Imagine yourself in your dream body, the dream physique, the one where you have abs, veins, your friends don't make fun of you, your delts are literally poking out of your shirt. If you were fat, then the shirt that was super tight, it didn't even fit, is finally flat around your stomach. If you were lean, skinny, then the shirt that hid your skin and bones is now tight around your arms. I want you to imagine the amount of confidence that you would have. You feel motivated, you feel strong, you feel energetic, you feel amazing. You've built the character traits of discipline and willpower, and it's helping you in other areas of your life. You've proven wrong all those who doubted you. Feels good, right? I just want to get you hyped, bro. Let's get into it. Chapter 0, Prerequisites. So before you even start watching this guide, I need you to do one thing. Go and hit a workout, either at the gym or at home. Depends on where you are going to be working out. If you are going to be working out in the gym, go and hit a workout in the gym. If you're going to be working out at home, go and hit a workout at home. And right now, I know this. Your brain is generating a million excuses right now not to go. Your brain is what got you to this point, right? Your brain is what got you to the point where you now hate your body. You hate your physique. You have this weird self-hate for yourself. Your health is starting to decline as a young man. That's stupid, right? Your brain made you choose to eat the sugar. It made you choose not to work out. It made you choose not to put forward something for your health in the future. Are you really going to trust it right now? If you hit a workout 2 months before you watching this video, so within the 2 months before watching this video, then it's fine. You don't need to do this step. But if you have not, I want you to go and hit a workout. And that is simply to maximize the value you get from this guide through relatability. If you do not relate to what I am saying, if you do not understand what I'm saying, then this guide won't benefit you as well as it could. Simple as that. You think that you need to be 100% ready before you hit the gym. You think that you need to have the perfect workout routine. You need to have all the knowledge. You need to know every single thing before you go and hit the gym. That's stupid, bro. Come on. Because it's like the fat guy who wants to lose weight is saying that once I find the perfect diet, then I'll start losing weight. That's stupid, right? Because everyone's diet is different. Everyone prefers different foods. And you can only find the perfect diet for you if you actually try and diet first. It's not rocket science. There's an entrepreneur named Alex Hormozy who says that instead of reading a ton of books on sales and then cold calling, which is basically you selling a package to someone you've never met on the phone, instead of doing that, go and make 100 cold calls and then read a ton of books on sales. Because you're gonna understand what they're saying in the sales books much better if you do that after making cold calls. Again, you've been in the trenches, you know what they're talking about, you've maximized the relatability, and therefore you've maximized the amount of value you will get from those books. So, I'm gonna stop rambling on and just go and hit a workout. If you're going to go to the gym, just go, hit a couple sets of bench press, go and hit a couple sets of rows, machine rows, and then do a couple leg extensions. You don't need to have the perfect workout. Just mess around with a couple machines, just do a couple cold reps on them and it's fine. If you're at home, go and hit 3 sets of push-ups, 3 sets of pull-ups, and 3 sets of squats. Simple. It's a no-brainer workout. Do that right now. If you can't do pull-ups, get up, jump up to the pull-up bar, jump up to the top of the pull-up bar, and then slowly let yourself down. Right? Just do that. Even if you do like 2 reps per set, it's fine. Just do a couple reps. Right? I want to know that you're committed to this guide. So you will only continue after you're done working out. Deal? Deal? 3, 2, 1. Go and work out. So, done your workout? Great. Now, put the video in full screen. No one needs to check the comments. If there are any comments, no one needs to check the comments. No need to worry about the different videos that are being recommended to you on the recommendations tab. No need to open another tab. No need to open WhatsApp while watching this. Put this in full screen. take notes, and watch in order and watch with focus. Chapter 1, Mindset. I know, this is cliche, and literally every motivational video on the internet says the same thing. The number one thing if you want to be successful is mindset. I know it's cliche, I know, but it's true, to be very honest. To an extent, obviously, but it's true. Because thing is that mindset is what differentiates those who make gains versus those who don't. It's what differentiates those who make progress consistently versus those who don't. Truth be told, it takes years to build a good physique, like at least 2 to 5, if not more, to build excellent physiques like these. Now, this might have already turned you off because as a generation, Gen Z, we are so impatient. It's crazy. First off, like, our attention spans are absolutely crap, but we just want things fast because everything around us is designed that way, right? Get money fast, get success fast, get good grades fast, get food fast. It's like, there's literally fast food. Like, I don't need to explain that, but I have a question for you. Are you in this for life? Genuinely, like, maybe pick up your journal and ask that. Are you in this for life? Are you going to exercise or at least lift weights for life? Okay, maybe not lift weights. You might just change sports, but are you going to train for the rest of your life? Or are you going to just build this aesthetic physique, gain the strength, and then just stop lifting? That sounds stupid, doesn't it? Or are you going to keep lifting at 60 if God gives you life and health? The latter, right? Most of us would love to lift until we're 60. It's as simple as that. If we live till 60, we want to keep exercising. I'm sure of it, right? So think about this, right? If you're in this for life, then does it really matter if the aesthetic physique is going to take 2 to 5 years? It doesn't matter, right? All of a sudden, you're probably like 18 right now, maybe 16, whatever. Let's say 15 because it makes the math easier. Let's say you're 15, right? And you start training right now. And let's say you live till 60. There's 45 years you have. 45, right? 45 years. That's 4 decades, 4.5 decades. That's 45 years. And it only takes 5 of those years to build an aesthetic physique. And you're going to be doing this for life, right? And so if you're young, you can push yourself, etc. But let's say you live to 60. You train these 45 years, and out of that, only 5 years. It takes only 5 years to build a physique. That's nothing. That is nothing. It only takes half a decade. That is nothing. This in itself should destroy your desire for fast progress. And if that isn't enough, I want you to know that, number one, wanting fast progress is actually bad for you, especially in the lifting game. Because truth is, muscle building an aesthetic physique, it is a slow process. It takes time. Like, you need to put in a lot of effort over an extended period of time to reap the rewards. So if you're constantly wanting fast progress and just have this short-term mindset, then you're not going to make as much progress as the person who has the long-term mindset, who knows that, okay, it's going to take 5 years. It's a fad that I need to accept. So what can I control? Well, I'm just going to control my diet, my workouts, and my sleep. That's it. And a couple other factors like stress. But that guy is going to make infinitely more progress because he's accepted the truth. Thanos said that reality is often disappointing. Well, it is, but in our case, like, it doesn't really matter because, number two, the time will pass. It's so simple. Time will pass, right? It has passed. And you're now 15, 16, 17, 18. Well, it will keep passing on, and then you'll be 22, 23, 24. Now, during this time, you can either dwell on the fact that it takes a while to build an aesthetic physique, or you can work out, eat correctly, sleep enough, and make the gains. Your choice. One more thing. Pain. Pain is part of everything good that you want to achieve in life. It's a part of the process, and you can avoid it. If you have committed yourself to wanting to lift, Bro, pain is it's inevitable, because you're gonna face pain when you have to do those last 2 reps of the set. You're gonna face pain when you have to sacrifice something that you want to eat for your health. You're gonna have to face pain when you have to not watch YouTube until 12 a.m. But let me tell you, it's worth it. It's 100% worth it. Never ever let anyone make you doubt that. It's 100% worth it. And the last thing I want to say, that was second last, this is the last thing that I want to say, is give yourself to the process. Welcome it with open arms. Because this journey we've already discussed is long. It's gonna take a while, and you'd be better off just enjoying the process, enjoying the workouts, enjoying trying to beat that last rep of the last week, enjoying trying to hit your calories every single day, enjoying trying to hit your protein every single day, enjoying you getting 7 hours of sleep. That is what makes it fun. It's not the destination that is fun. It's the journey that is fun. Every single person who has achieved some sort of goal will tell you that. For example, when I was giving my GCEs, I had the goal of getting 6 A stars. So I was giving 6 subjects, and my goal was to get 6 A stars. Right? It was very simple. It was a specific goal. It was clear in my mind. Right? I prayed to God. I did the work. I would study for quite a while every single day. It would be like around 4 to 6 hours every single day I was studying. And lo and behold, alhamdulillah, your boy got 6 A stars. Right? But the funny thing is, I enjoyed the journey getting to those 6 A stars instead of actually seeing the 6 A stars on the result date. It was weird. It was like, okay, so whatever, I've got the 6 A stars now, alhamdulillah. Let's move on to the next thing. That is a perfect example of the journey being fun over the destination. I enjoyed the times that I used to, even though I didn't like studying, but I enjoyed the grind. So this is not to get you scared or anything. It is simply to get your mind ready for what's about to come. You were gonna discover all these things on your own anyway, but I just wanted to give you you were going to discover all these things on your own anyway. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Chapter 2, training. As a beginner, I overcomplicated training so much. It's crazy. I would be training my back more than my chest, or my chest more than my back, because I thought that my back would outgrow my chest, and then my chest would be a weak point, and that my biceps are smaller than my triceps, so I need to train my biceps more. And shut up. That's what I would say to my younger self. Shut up. You are weak. That is the truth. Your entire body is weak. From your head all the way to your toes, you're weak. It's as simple as that. And in a weak body, there is no such thing as a lagging body part. Because every body part is lagging and every body part is weak. It's the harsh truth, but it's time you get hit with this. Because thinking that my biceps are bigger than my triceps and I'm going to train my triceps more as a result is stupid, because your biceps are small and your triceps are small. I know you want that V-taper, so you want to specialize in the muscles that get you that V-taper, and that is great. But for your first year or for your beginner phase, you need to train holistically. You need to train in a way that builds your base. You need to build your foundation. Again, you bake the cake first, you bake the cake first, you ice it later. Train with a holistic nature first, and then you start specializing in the muscle that you want to build. We've already discussed this, right? You're in it for life. So if you spend a year or two training holistically and then specializing in the muscle that you want to build, like the back, the shoulders, again, it doesn't really matter if you spend this 1 or 2 years building your base, because that is going to set you up for a successful training career. So don't say that my biceps are smaller than my triceps, otherwise I will smash you. Sorry. No. I will slap you. Sorry. I meant slap you. Okay, I will slap you. Like this. Oh, no. There is this quote that I like a lot, and it holds true in pretty much every area of life. That is, principles are few, but tactics are many. There is so much wisdom in this just small little line, because there are so many ways to skin a cat, especially when it comes to lifting. Everything works, man. You want to train 3 times a week full body? It works. You want to train 4 times a week? It works. You want to train 5, 6, 7 times a week? It works. But principles are a few. As long as those tactics build from those principles, you're good. So I want to talk about a few training principles right now. Number 1, exercise form. So exercise form is simply the way that we do an exercise to prevent injury and reap the maximum amount of rewards we can from it. For example, for push-ups, the correct form would be to lock out your elbows at the top. When you're coming down, make sure that your chest touches the ground, or at least your nose touches the ground, and then you come back up, and then you lock out, and then you repeat. That will be the correct form for a push-up, right? And your abs are braced, so you don't have this weird motion going on here, right? So it's completely flat, right? And you make sure that you've nailed that, and therefore your form is correct. We need to make sure that our form is as good as possible, because if your form is good, you're going to prevent injury, you're going to build more muscle, you're going to reap more rewards out of the exercise. But if your form is not good, then it doesn't matter reps you do. It doesn't matter how much weight you lift. It doesn't matter if you're lifting 3 plates or 4 plates, because the form is not good, right? It doesn't need to be like a robot where you go bzz, bzz, bzz. No, it doesn't need to be like that. It just needs to be good to prevent injury, and it needs to be good to maximize the amount of muscle growth that you can get from that exercise. You need to maximize something called the range of motion. The range of motion is basically every exercise has a complete motion, right? For example, let's take a dip, right? The complete motion for a dip would be where you've strained your elbows, you go down, and then your shoulders touch the bar, and then you come back up. That will be a full range of motion for a dip, right? It's the complete motion of the exercise. But the range of motion for your build might be where you lock out at the top, then once you're going down, you hit parallel, so 90-degree angle with your elbow and your shoulder, and then you come back up. That is important because not everyone can do the full range of motion for every exercise. For example, again, let's use a dip. A lot of people, including me, if I ever do dips, because dips are just for I just can't do dips. It always hurts. But dips, not everyone can do full range of motion dips because it requires a lot of shoulder flexibility. And because of that, a lot of people end up doing dips at parallel, which is completely fine. The gains are just a little bit more, to be very honest. So another example that I think of is the squat. Not everyone can go completely deep on a barbell back squat because of ankle mobility issues. But everyone can go till parallel. I mean, like most people just go till parallel. So again, they form a 90-degree angle between their knees and their hips. That's fine as well. If you can't do the full range of motion of an exercise, that's fine. Just do the range of motion that suits you. Because if you try to exceed that range of motion that suits you, especially when you are approaching failure, and if you are approaching the point at which you get tired from doing an exercise, then it's a recipe for disaster. You can increase your range of motion to things like active stretching, which you can check after this video. So whenever you do an exercise, it would be wise for you to first and foremost go and search up the form of the exercise on YouTube. For example, let's say you're doing bench press, go and search up bench press form on YouTube. If you're doing push-ups, go and search up push-up form on YouTube. If you're doing, pull-ups, go search up pull-up form on YouTube. Or you can do the best way to do pull-ups or how to do pull-ups, and you'll probably find a couple videos that are showing you how to do that movement. Another thing is to record yourself whilst doing the exercise, because if you record yourself, then you know what you're doing good, what you're doing wrong, and you can compare it to the form that you saw in the YouTube video. You need to do this properly. Like, it may sound like an overstatement, but you truly need to do this properly, because if you don't, then you're going to end up like me. Like, I have bad knees, and it's simply because, one, I did not warm up correctly, and number two, I used to squat like an idiot, And number 3, I did not warm up before going for football practice. Not soccer, football. You need to take this seriously. There's no joking around. If you can get a personal trainer for a month or 2 or a couple sessions, like 5 to 10, he can critique you on your form. Perfect. Just do it, because I'm telling you, it is going to benefit you so much in the rest of your training career. And speaking takes a lot out of you. But above my throat hurts, man. Even जहाँ पे कबा होता है वहाँ पे तकलीफ हो रही है. No. Number 2, training close to failure. So, failure is simply the point during an exercise where our body just gives up. You know how, I don't know if you've done this, but sometimes you might be trying to do push-ups and you're at this bottom position, and then you're trying to push up, but you're shaking, and then you just fall down. Like, for example, in this video. That is failure in real time. But as a beginner, I want you to first master the technique, the form that we discussed earlier. Maybe do that for a couple weeks, maybe getting a personal trainer, recording yourself, going with light weights, just getting used to the form of the exercises for a couple weeks. And then you can start to train close to failure. Now, this is a bit of a, how do I say this? I wouldn't say controversy, but I would say this is a bit of an argumentative topic, where basically if you train a couple reps away from failure, so 1 to 3 reps shy of failure, versus if you train till failure, you will still get similar results in both scenarios, right? But training to failure comes with the added cost of accumulating a ton of fatigue. Versus, for example, let's say you were on the bench press, right? Let's say you were bench pressing, right? You did 7 reps for 3 sets. That was you training 3 reps away from failure. Versus you doing 10 reps on the bench press for 3 sets, and then you were training to complete failure. You would get the same amount of gains in both cases, but you get less fatigue on the 7 rep set versus on the 10 rep set. However, I recommend still going to failure, because 1, you're a beginner, you don't need to worry that much about fatigue, and number 2, you don't know what 1 to 3 reps shy of failure means. You've barely even pushed yourself ever in your life, and you think that you are going to know what it feels to be 1 to 3 reps shy of failure, because your mind is going to want to stop before your body does. I know this is like some David Goggins stuff, but it's true. Your mind is going to tell you to stop way before your body gives up. It's as simple as that. For example, you did 10 reps and you thought that you were 1 to 3 reps away from failure, but you were in reality 5 reps. You could do 15 reps. Even I struggle with this a bit, which is why I recommend you just go all out. Like, I'm talking all out. You want to become strong, right? Well, it all starts with, again, cliche, but conquering your mind. Now, number 3, progressive overload. Progressive overload is simply doing more than you did last time. This is key to making progress. Without this, like, bro, you're still gonna remain skinny. You're still gonna remain fat for the rest of your life unless you use progressive overload. Without this, it's like you won't make any progress whatsoever. So you can induce progressive overload through a couple of ways. Number 1, you can increase the weight. So, for example, let's say that you did 25 kilograms of bench press last time. Well, you can try 27.5 or 30 kilograms this time. That will be progressive overload since you're doing more than last time. The second way is increasing the reps. Let's say that you did 3 sets of bench press and you did 10 reps on the first set, 9 on the second set, and 7 on the third set, right? Well, if next week or next workout, whenever you did bench press, you did 3 sets, but you did 10 reps on the first set, 10 on the second set, and 8 on the third set, for example. That would classify as progress. That would classify as progressive overload because you did more than last time. Even if it was just by a little bit, it was still more. Let's say you did 3 sets last week. on the bench press? Well, this week or what next workout, whenever you did bench press, let's say you did 4 sets. That would again classify as progressive overload because you are doing more than last time. Number 4, making the exercises harder. This applies more towards body weight movements, but it again still does apply to weight. So how would it apply to weight? Let's say, for example, you did 3 sets of 10 on the flat bench press. So you're completely flat, like this, right? Well, next time, you, instead of doing a completely flat bench press, you did an incline bench press. So that would make the exercise harder, right? This is an incline bench press, right? You're like lying like this on the bench. So that would make the exercise harder. And in a bodyweight sense or a calisthenic sense, that would be, for example, going from a regular push-up to a push-up where your feet are elevated on something. So, for example, a bench or a bed, whatever, right? So going from this flat angle to this decline angle with a push-up, that would be making the exercise harder. Again, you are doing more of last time because you made the exercise harder. The amount of stress on the muscle is going to be greater. Number 5, doing the same amount of reps, the same amount of sets, the same exercise, but doing it with better form, better mind-muscle connection, better tempo. Tempo is basically how long it takes you to do one rep of the exercise. So, for example, your previous set reps might have been like this, but this one was like this. That would again classify as progressive overload. Think of it as leveling up your Fortnite level. I know, right? For example, in Fortnite, we could go up to level 100, right? We could go up to level 100, and to get to the next level, you would have to accumulate more XP, right? As far as I remember, you would have to accumulate more XP than the last level. That is progressive overload in a nutshell, right? It's doing more than last time because you're accumulating more XP than last time, and you're using that to increase your level. That is essentially progressive overload. Bro, can the phone shut up? Number 4, training volume and training frequency. So, training volume is simply the amount of sets and reps you do per week for a given body part. For example, let's say you do 20 sets of chest per week, that would be considered as your weekly volume. And then the training frequency is simply how many times per week do you train a given muscle. For example, let's say you train chest 3 times a week, then your training frequency for chest would be 3 times per week. So these two may seem like different questions, separate things, but in reality they go hand in hand, because the greater the amount of sets that you perform for a given muscle group per workout, the less you can train it per week. For example, let's say you are doing a total of, let's say, 12 sets. Yeah, 12 sets for chest per week. If you did that in 2 workouts, that would mean 6 sets per workout, right? Because 6 into 2 is 12. I hope you know math. So that would be 6 sets per workout, right? As a result, you would only train 2 times per week, because your chest would require more recovery because you did more volume, more sets per session. But if you did 4 sets per workout and you wanted to get those 12 sets per week, then you would have to train 3 times per week to get that same volume. And the reason you would do it 3 times per week is because you're doing 4 sets per workout. Therefore, the amount of recovery that you need is going to be lesser than if you were to do 6 sets per workout. Get it? Now, another factor that is in this is called intensity. It is simply another word for how hard you train, or training close. No, I wouldn't say that. It would just be how hard are you training. Intensity would be that. So if you were to train to complete failure, that would be like a 10 out of 10 intensity. And if you would train a couple reps away from failure, like for example you train 2 to 3 reps short of failure, that would be 7 to 8 out of 10, right? So the greater the amount of intensity, the lower the amount of volume you can actually do, right? Because just think about it, man. Like Jeff Cavalier says, You can either go hard or you can go long, but you can't do both. So let's say that you're on the bench press, right? And you train till failure every single set. Well, then you're not going to be able to do a lot of sets. You might be able to do 2 or 3. But if you trained 3 reps short of failure, then you are going to be able to do 4 or even 5 sets because the intensity per set is reduced. And therefore, that also plays into the role of how much you would train per week. But I know this sounds complicated, but it's just something I wanted to tell you, but you'll experience that yourself. In short, I've done all the research for you. The research says that you need to do around 10 to 20 sets per body part per week to make gains. And you need to train each muscle about 2 to 3 times per week. That's great. But I feel like 10 to 20 is a lot because when lifters like Alpha Destiny, Alex Leonidas, they don't do 20 sets per week when he was aiming for a 405-pound bench press. Like, that is a lot. Imagine freaking 405 pounds. How much does Nico Avocado weigh? But 405 pounds, right? He was still not doing 20 sets for chest per week. Crazy, right? So that's why I feel like 8 to 15 is the better range, because going up to those 20 sets, it's going to require more recovery time, etc. And it pretty much is not for you. 8 to 15 is like the perfect amount in my opinion. Now, this was for your knowledge, okay, because again, principles are few, but tactics are many. However, I have this, I got you covered, bro. I got you covered. It's all covered in the workout program. No need to worry about that. Oh, by the way, for smaller muscle groups like the biceps, the triceps, the calves, etc. Calves are different, but for smaller muscle group, what the heck? For smaller muscle groups, finally, 4 to 8 sets per week is fine. Now, before we get into the juicy part of this guide, which is what muscle is trained by what exercise, let's first discuss a couple more things. These aren't principles, these are just good guidelines to go by. Number 1, treat yourself as a beginner lifter. A lot of the people that you see online are pretty darn advanced. Like, treat yourself as a beginner. Because thing is that you might see a lot of advice on fitness, like periodization and, waves and whatever. Just none of that applies to you because you are a beginner lifter. The simplest and probably the best thing that you could do for your training career right now is to just treat yourself as a beginner. Embrace this period. Embrace this beginner phase because it will never ever come back. Holy bro, like I did that a ton. Like, just trying to apply advanced concepts to me when I was a beginner and I had like pretty much no biceps. I mean, I still have pretty darn small biceps, but just it was stupid. Like, just don't do that, right? Focus on you. You're a beginner lifter. Focus on linear progression. We'll talk about how to progress, but it's basically where you just try to progress workout to workout, week to week. Simple as that. Again, you're in this for life, right? So you're going to have all this time to do all these fancy exercises, and you're going to have all this time to do these advanced exercises and run these advanced programs. Number 2, take baby steps. I know, again, as Gen Z, we want to rush things as much as possible, but truth be told, I've already told you that you're in this for life. We've agreed that if you're watching this video up till this point. And number 2, we've already agreed that it takes 2 to 5 years to build an aesthetic physique. That should be enough of a reason. That should be enough of a reason for you to take baby steps, take small steps, and then, inshallah, have massive progress. If you try to rush the weights, if you try to rush progression, if you try to ego lift, which is basically lifting more than you can handle, it will come back to bite you. I'm telling you, man. Number 3, date the basics. Yes, I mean like date the basics, because the basics are like, again, it comes back to the same quote. Principles are few, but tactics are many. In this case, I would say the fundamentals are few, but the non-fundamentals are many. You need to distinguish what the essential is from the non-essential, and luckily, that has already been done for you. There are time-proven exercises that will guarantee you results. Simple. And I'm going to explain what they are right now. We're going to look at this in terms of movement patterns, compound movements, and isolation movements. So I know those are fancy words. Let me explain. Barney style, as Bald Omni-Man says. Compound movements are simply movements that activate multiple different muscles. Like, I'm talking multiple. For example, if you were doing a bench press, that was activating multiple muscles. For example, the chest, the front delts, the triceps, right? If you were doing a pull-up, that would be, again, a compound movement because you are activating multiple muscles at one single time. Like that would be the back, that would be the biceps, the forearms, your grip basically. If you were doing a squat, that would activate a ton of muscles, right? The muscles in your quads, the muscles in your butt, the muscles in your calves to stabilize, even the hamstrings, I don't know. But again, those would be called compound movements, right? We want to do majority of our gains, like 80 to 90% of our gains are going to come from these compound movements, getting stronger at them, getting better at them, again, dating them. Number 2, isolation movements. Isolation movements are movements that activate just one single muscle at a time. For example, if you were to do a bicep curl, that is a isolation movement because you are activating just the bicep. If you were to do a tricep extension, again, that will be a isolation movement because you are activating just the tricep, right? If you were to do a lateral raise, you know how people do side raises? Yeah. If you were to do that lateral raise, that would again be a isolation movement because you are activating just this part of the shoulder. If you were to do a rear delt fly, that would again be a isolation movement because you are activating pretty much just the rear delt, the back of the shoulder. Those are isolation movements. How do we structure these movements into our routine? Well, it's very simple. Do something called movement patterns. I know this is a lot of information, just bear with me. Movement patterns are simply how you can move your body in space, right? And so there are just like 6 to 8 movement patterns as if that matter the most. There's vertical pushing, so for example, things like overhead pressing. Then there's vertical pulling, things like pull-ups, lat pull-downs. There's horizontal pressing, which is basically things like bench press, push-ups. Then there's horizontal pulling, which is things like, you know, those rows that people do, like machine rows, that type of stuff. And then there's the squat, and then there's a hip hinge, which is like deadlift. And then for isolation, there's pretty much very simple, bro. It's just get this out here, curl. That would be like for biceps, right? Just a single movement. It would be like, I don't know the sciencey term for this. I think it's called like elbow flexion or something. And then you have for the triceps, elbow extension, I believe it's called. Yeah. So it would just be this, right? Simple. It's not rocket science, right? So when you focus on these movements, you get pretty much majority of your results, right? And when people like Alex United say that, you better listen, man. Now, number 4, stop program hopping. Program hopping is a plague. Like I'm telling you, bro. Program hopping is, you know how every superhero has an arch enemy of some sort? For example, for Batman, it's the Joker. For Flash, it's the Reverse Flash. You get my point, right? So, just like every superhero has an arch enemy, the arch enemy for lifters is program hopping. Because when you program hop, you make no progress. Not any progress. No progress. 0. A big fat 0. I wasted... The reason I hate this so much is because I've wasted 1.5 years of my training career just because of this. I started in December 2020. It is 20 September 2023 as I'm recording this. I'm about almost 3 years in. And I've wasted 1.5 years, almost 2 years, program hopping. I would go from program to program to program. I would go from this workout routine, try that 2 weeks, go to another workout routine that I really found fascinating, do that for 2 weeks, then go back to this one, then go back to this one. Maybe 1 week I was training 3 days per week, then 2 weeks later I was training 6 days per week, 2 weeks later I was training like 5 days per week. It is a surefire way to make no progress because you never allow your body to go through the progression system, to acclimate to that workout. And I think I don't remember. I think I saw this in, I don't know, it was it a Built with Science video? I don't know, but it was basically that whenever you hop on a new program, the first like 4 to 6 weeks are just your body acclimating to that. And then the rest of the time that you run that program is actually where the muscle is built. That's crazy. And I never ever allowed myself to go through that progression because I was simply changing programs, changing workouts every 2 weeks. Surprise, surprise, why I look the same. Okay, I have built a muscle, a little bit of muscle. For example, this was me doing a side chest. This was me doing a side chest. I'll just write the date down below, but you can understand, right? I didn't make as much progress as I could. That is why program hopping is a plague. Find a program and stick to it. Number 5, genetics. So many people who are like bleep cats, they always pull the genetics card whenever they don't make any progress. They're like, oh, I have bad genetics. Okay, yeah, you might, but most of us have average genetics, right? Most of us have average genetics. I have average genetics. Okay, my back maybe looks good, but I maybe have good genetics for back, but I pretty much have normal genetics just like you do. Simple. So don't use that excuse on me. God made you the way you are. Allah made you the way you are. Simple as that. You can't change this. It's not in your control, honestly. Like, what do you want? Change parents? That's not gonna happen, man. So you are with the genetics that you are. Don't use that as an excuse. If you don't quit, if you keep going, you will get there. Simple as that, inshallah. Number 6, control the movement. So remember a little while ago when I was talking about this, maybe we're doing your reps like this. I'm okay, taser shock. Remember when you were doing your reps like this, like super fast? How about you stop doing that and for once do this? Control on the way down, explore on the way up. Do that, because the goal should be to chase the perfect rep, not the reps that have been prescribed to you, but the perfect rep. On the way down, on any movement, control it. Don't just fall. For example, in a pull-up, don't just like, let's say you're in a pull-up up here. Don't just do this, right? Instead, come down slower. You don't need to come down like a snail now. Just come down slower, right? You can do that. And then once you're going up in a movement, for example, in a pull-up, then you can go fast. In a push-up, again, once you're going up, you can go fast. When you're going down, go slow. Simple. This is like one of the best ways to do an exercise because it maximally prevents injuries, etc. Now, finally, the moment that you have been waiting for. This is where the juicy stuff comes in. Now, we're going to talk about understanding how certain muscles are hit by certain exercises and how you can grow them. Both, I'm going to include exercises both for home and at the gym. But before I talk about this, just one more thing. Just one more thing. If you are going to train at home, I recommend getting 2 pieces of equipment. Gymnastic rings and a pull-up bar. The gymnastic rings are amazing. You can do so many exercises on them. You can do rolls, you can do dips, you can do push-ups, you can do pull-ups, you can do ring holds, you can hang. It's just so good. And then the pull-up bar, you can even train abs on the rings. And then the pull-up bar, I wanted to get that because it is a bit more stable than the rings and it will give you more variety than the rings. And so maybe you can get a doorway pull-up bar. Maybe you can get a pull-up bar that is installed into the wall like I have. Maybe you can get a pull-up stand that comes with those dip bars. I don't know. Just get something and get those gymnastic rings. Like these 2 are a must if you are training at home. It's a worthwhile investment. Otherwise, I don't know if the workouts are going to help you if you don't have these 2 pieces of equipment because I have included them. You can find other alternates, but a pull-up bar is just necessary, man. Now, you might be thinking, I can get equipment, I can get a pull-up bar, I can't get gymnastic rings. Bro, shut up. You can. Okay, they might be too expensive. Yeah, well then save some money and get them. You don't even need to do that because if you tell your dad, if you tell your father that, Dad, I'm serious about this, I want to make gains, I want to be a strong man, he's going to respect that. And if you show him that you're putting in work, if you show him that you're doing push-ups, if you show him that you're doing squats, even if you don't have a pull-up bar yet, he will buy you one because your father loves that. Whenever I'm in the kitchen and I'm weighing my food, my dad just he says this phrase in Urdu called "Oh bhai," which basically means "oh brother." It's basically like an expression where he just basically does that as respect. I asked him and he says that he respects the dedication, he respects the effort. Your father will respect that? just go and get some equipment. Ali from the future here. I was editing this video and I just wanted to say that whatever exercises I'm going to tell you for every single body part, you can search them up on YouTube. I won't play the footage for every single one because that is too time consuming. So just go and search them up on YouTube. Let's get started with the muscles. Number 1, chest. Simply how the chest works and what exercises hit it. Well, the chest basically has 3 portions. There's the upper chest, there's the middle chest, and then there's the lower chest. So the upper chest is basically this portion of your chest, which I pretty much don't have. I'm completely flat over here. This portion is activated when you do this move, right? When you like push upwards, not necessarily up, not necessarily flat, in the middle, like 45 degrees or so. When you push this way, that is when the upper chest is maximally activated. So the middle chest is basically this portion of your chest, right? And this is again activated when you do things like this, right? When you like push your chest like this, right? Or you press like this. For the upper chest, think a incline bench press. For the middle chest, just think flat bench press. And then for your lower chest, right? So this part of your chest, like, you know, the one that gives you the hang, this, right? This movement right here will activate your lower chest, right? And this type of press, you can do flies like this, but then this type of press, again, also activates the lower chest. So that being said, there are 2 ways to hit the chest. There is, number 1, a press. So like we discussed, for example, an incline press, a flat press, which is basically a bench press, or a decline bench press, yeah. So that is simply the way you hit these fibers. Now, there's another way, which is flies. Flies are basically where you have like your arms, you know, like apart, and then you just bring them together like this. That is a fly. You can do that. So if you were to do it like this, that would be like an upper. If you were to do it like this, that would be for your middle chest. And then if you were to do it like this, that would be like for your lower chest, right? You've seen a lot of gym bros do flies. To be very honest, pressing is where majority of your gains will come. Flies are a good supplement, but pressing is where the majority of your gains will come. When people like Alpha Destiny say that they built their chest with just pressing, pretty much no flies, then it really shows the power of pressing and just getting stronger, because that is the main compound movement where you can actually lift a lot more weight versus the flies where you cannot lift as much weight, and it's more of a pump movement. But if you actually train hard, you can obviously get results with that as well. Now, if you're in the gym, well, then the exercises that can hit the chest are pretty much any type of bench press, any type of barbell bench press, so decline barbell bench press, incline barbell bench press, flat barbell bench press, Larson press, etc. Then there's also the dumbbell variations of the bench press, so incline bench press, incline dumbbell bench press, a flat dumbbell bench press, a decline dumbbell bench press. You can also do a different, I don't know what was it called, it's like a mix of a fly and then it's a mixture of a fly and a press, that type of press as well. You can do with dumbbells. And then there's again chest flies, which includes like things like, you know, the cable flies, the machine flies, the band flies, the dumbbell flies. It includes things like that. And then, you know, you also have machine variations. So, you know, those hammer strength epic machines, it also has those variations. So the same press, but it can be like a machine chest press or a machine fly. Again, that type of thing. For at home, push-ups and dips are your best friend for chest. Push-ups and all of its variations. I'm talking push-ups, normal push-ups, you have ring push-ups, you have decline push-ups, you have incline push-ups, you have pseudo planche push-ups, which hits more of the shoulder, but and lower chest. You have pseudo planche push-ups, dips. Dips are like amazing especially for the lower chest. Dips are amazing, but I find that personally not everyone can do dips because it can hurt the shoulder, it can hurt the sternum, which is basically like this portion of your chest. You know, like if you feel the bone over here, that is your sternum, and it hurts my sternum pretty much. So I always get inflation. So I just neglected dips because you can get the same effect that dips have if you do deficit push-ups, which is basically where you elevate your hands and you can go deeper. Because a standard push-up just stops at nose to ground or chest to ground. But with the deficit push-up, you can go even deeper. Back. Back is, if you want to fly, man, you need a big back. You need those lats, bro. You need a big wide back. If you want to look good, you need a big back. If you want to get that V-type, especially that upside down Dorito look, you need a big back. Now there are several portions of the back. So very simply explained, you can divide this into two first. So there is the upper back, and then there is your lats, etc., right? But your lats are the muscle that actually are like this, like they give you that Dorito look. They make you look wide. Everyone says they want wide shoulders, but in reality, the thing that makes you look wide is the back, because as your backside improves and you train your delts as well, then the space automatically between your shoulders increases in a sense. I don't know if this is bro science. Please, someone call me out if it is. Your back is made up of a couple portions, right? You can divide this into the upper back, the lower back, and lats. The upper back consists of muscles like the rhomboids, the traps. Yeah, pretty much. So the upper back is what gives you that Ninja Turtle action. It makes you look thick, like thick, like thick. Okay, like I'm talking like THICCCCC, that thick. It makes you look thick, okay? And the lats, they make you look wide. Like you look like freaking, like you're gonna fly, bro. That type of thing. It's like you have wings. That's what the lats make you look like. And then the lower back, that is, again, it makes you get that Christmas reaction, and it makes you look good as well, and it's essential for good health. So now, how do you train these portions? Well, you can bias different parts of your back, but you don't need to do that right now because you are, again, just a beginner. You just need to focus on the movement patterns that we talked about: vertical pulling, horizontal pulling, etc. So for the upper back, horizontal pulling of any kind is your best bet, right? It's horizontal pulling in this fashion, right? Where you have the elbows somewhat out. Just do rows naturally. Most of us, like for example, I just do rows like this because that's just natural. Just do rows naturally. You don't need to worry about biasing different parts of the back because, like we said, your entire body is weak. Now for the lats, the best bet, honestly, like the best bet that you have is vertical pulling. So pull-ups or pull-downs. I personally prefer pull-ups. It's what built my back. You can see my back right now. It's what built my back, and I'm not even super strong. Like I can do 20 kilograms for one rep, a 20 kilogram weighted pull up for one rep, and my back looks like this. I just wonder if I can get to 40, 60, how wide it's gonna be, bro. Inshallah, one day. So the exercise, and for your lower back, any sort of deadlifts, any sort of hyperextensions, that would be enough to build it, essentially. If you do just, we'll discuss this in the leg section, but if you do deadlifts of any sort, and I am going to make you do deadlifts, that would be fine. That would be enough for your lower back. Now, if you're at the gym, then the exercises that you can do for your back are as follows. You can do weighted pull-ups, you can do pull-ups, you can do seated rows of all sorts, you can do cable rows, you can do machine rows, you can do dumbbell rows, you can do lat pull-downs, you can do single arm lat pull-downs. And then at home, you can pull-ups are king, man. At home, pull-ups are king. That's what built my back. You can do ring rows, and you can also do dumbbell and band rows. Shoulders. This is the muscle that makes it look like you got cannonballs surgically implanted in you. I'm not joking. Look at this. So, shoulders, very, very simply put, there are 3 heads of the shoulders, right? They're also called deltoids, which we call delts in short, but shoulders, very, very simple. You have what's called the front delt, which is like this part of the shoulder. So the front delt will be, oh yeah, I know, I'm showing my shoulders as well, I know. So the shoulders, like, okay, I see this. So the shoulders, like this part of the shoulder, that is called the front delt. I know they're small, but this is called the front delt. The side, the one on the side, this one is called the lateral delt, right? So this one is called the lateral delt. So the front delt is going to be activated during any, and I mean any pressing movement that you do. So the front delt is going to be activated during any pressing movement that you do. Sorry. And then the rear delt is simply this one right here. My rear delts are right there. Right? See that? That is the rear delt. And this is actually very important than most people realize. So the main way that the front delt works is like this. When you raise your arm in front. So if you're just sitting with me, like you can directly try and so you can directly just try and raise your arm like this. Boom, your front delt just activated. Now, if you do any sort of pressing, like horizontal pressing, vertical pressing, your front delt is going to be maximally activated during that time as well. Which is why we don't do any front raises, because you're already doing so much pressing to horizontal and vertical, as well as doing flies as well. So it's already being activated quite a bit. So you don't need to do any extra isolation work, because most people's front delts are overdeveloped than their lateral or rear delts. And that is what causes this type of posture, right? It's your chest being too tight, and then your front delts being overpowered, and your rear delts not being as much, which doesn't allow you to open up. Now, and the side delts, it's very simple. The side delts and side raise. But one thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to raise directly to the side. You want to raise a bit in front. So if we were to do that, so the front raise is completely in front, obviously, and then the side raise is completely to the side. The middle, in between both of them, that is where you want to raise, because this is going to maximally activate and maximally shorten the lateral delt. Then we lastly have rear delts, and rear delts work during any pulling movement that you do. So any pulling movement where you're going even like this, or even if you're going just like, for example, we discussed in rows a little while ago that if you were to do this, if you were to roll like this, well then it will activate the rear delt maximally during that row. That's pretty much it, right? The rear delt is activated during any sort of pulling motion that you do, and it's also activated when you do this movement right here, when you do this, when you do this, right? Again, it's the same as the lateral delt. You don't want to do it completely to the side. You don't want to do it completely close to you. You want to keep it at a 45-degree angle so that it looks like this. Got it? That is how your rear delt activates. Now, what exercises can you do to stimulate all of these heads? Well, pretty simple. If you're in the gym, then overhead press is king for shoulder development. Overhead press is gonna develop the strength specifically for your front delt. It also activates the rear delt, the lateral delts to a certain extent, not necessarily the rear delts, but it's a good compound movement for the shoulders. Then you also have dumbbell overhead press. You have the lateral raise, you have the side raise, and you have all the variations of it. So cable side raises, cable lateral, I can't say lateral, man. Cable lateral raises, dumbbell lateral raises, like the you laying on the bench type of lateral raises. Again, that is all gonna activate your side delts. Then we have, for the rear delts, we have face pulls. That's basically where you just go like this, and then you have different movements like the rear delt fly, so basically you go like this with a dumbbell. And then you also have the rear delt machine. But the rear delt machine is a good one. If you haven't, use it. And for at home, handstand push-ups are king, bro. If you're at home, handstand push-ups for overall shoulder development. Handstand push-ups, pike push-ups, all basically because they are the regression of the handstand push-up. Pike push-up is the regression of the handstand push-up. So handstand push-ups for pike push-ups for overall shoulder development is the home equivalent of the overhead press. Then you have band lateral raises, dumbbell lateral raises. If you have any dumbbells at home, then it will be dumbbell lateral raises. Or if you have a backpack at home that you can fill with books or something like that, your course books that you hate, but they are pretty darn heavy, so you can use them for lateral raises. And ring face pulls. Again, I told you to get those rings. Right? Ring face pulls or band face pulls, and then ring rear delt flies, or just band pull aparts. Those are exercises that will activate your rear delts. Abs and obliques. This is the muscle everyone wants, right? Everyone wants abs because they believe that as soon as they get abs, they're going to get a girlfriend. Side note, that's not the case. Abs are just like any other muscle. I don't know, so many people think of abs as something different. Like, for example, there's like, I don't know, some weird thing that's just on your body and it just operates differently. No, abs are just like any other muscle. You need to build them. They're not built in the kitchen unless you do ab exercises in the kitchen. They're revealed in the kitchen and they're built in the gym. You wouldn't say that. The notion of abs being built in the kitchen is stupid. Because if you say that if I just lose the fat, then I'm gonna have a chest, I'm gonna have a back, I'm gonna have a heavy taper. That isn't the case. We know that isn't the case. If you lean down, you're not gonna just have a chest, you're not gonna just have a back. You need to build the muscle, which you do in the gym. And then therefore, you lean down to reveal that muscle. Simple. Abs work the same way. You build it, you train it, and then you reveal it. Now, you can do abs and obliques at home. So abs are, we all know what abs are, but obliques are basically on like the side of the abs. I probably have a picture somewhere here, but those are called the obliques. So what exercises train the abs? Well, if you're in the gym, you can hang from a pull-up bar, and then you can do leg raises like this. You can do this at home as well. I told you to get that pull-up bar installed, right? Do that. Or even if you have gym rings, you can do that as well. You can do cable crunches. You can do all the hanging ab exercises. You can also do, if you have a machine, I think there's a crunch machine or something. If you have that, you can do that as well. And you can also do any sort of dumbbell ab exercises or oblique exercises like dumbbell Russian twists. And then you can also do lying on the ground exercises. Now, if you're at home, then honestly, your best bet is simply to do hanging ab exercises. That is your best bet, to do hanging ab exercises. For the obliques, again, you can do hanging side crunches. Now, if you are at home, you can also do lying ab exercises. Those will be like amazing as well. You can start with lying ab exercises. Once you get good at them, then you can do hanging ab exercises. Biceps. Yeah, so let's get into it. So the bicep function, like we discussed, very, very simple. There's another function to that. I think there are like two functions of the bicep, but very simply put, all it does is curl, right? So you curl and then you make big biceps. These are still small, but I'm in the process, man. That's what program hopping gets you, small biceps. So one thing that you want to do with biceps is train full range of motion. No one struggles to lock out their arm. Like I have like hypermobile elbows. So you see that? That's where most people lock out. Mine lock out there. Freaky, right? You want to train full range of motion to prevent something called a bicep tear. A bicep tear is simply where your bicep detaches from its tendons. Basically, right here is something called your tendon, bicep tendon. What a bicep tear does is that basically the bicep tears from this tendon. It sounds scary, but you can easily avoid it if you're not on drugs. And number two, if you train full range of motion. That means you fully lock out and then you fully curl. That's it. Now, the bicep does get partially hit from all the back movements you do because, like we said, compound movements, right? The pull-ups, the rows. But the problem is that it gets hit partially. And if you want small arms for the rest of your life, then go ahead, don't train biceps. But if you don't and you want those types of arms that we saw in the scene, go into biceps. Now, if you're in the gym, you can do all sorts of movements like cable curls, you can do barbell curls, you can do dumbbell curls, you can do incline dumbbell curls, and yeah, that's pretty much any sort of curling. If you're curling, it's fine, great. Now, if you're at home, you can do ring curls, you can do backpack curls, you can do backpack curls you can do bicep curls with a dumbbell if you have dumbbells at home. That's pretty much it. Honestly, like you can do band curls as well, but you can't do much at home unless you have the right equipment. Now, triceps. The tricep has three heads. There is the long head, there is the lateral head, and then there is the medial head. Basically, tricep has three heads, and the tricep is considered 2/3 of the arm. So, if the bicep is 1/3 of the arm, the tricep is considered 2/3 of the arm, and you should train triceps more than biceps, out everyone says, but honestly, just train in balance is fine, because your triceps are gonna get hit quite a lot. So, triceps. Now, triceps are 2/3 of the arm. So if you don't know math, that simply means that now the triceps, they do a very, very simple thing. You know what it is? It's super simple. Just extend the elbow. That's what the triceps do. So again, just like the biceps, they do get hit partially as we do our pushing movements, but that is, again, no excuse. If you want big arms, you need to train triceps. So if you are at the gym, then the exercises that you can do for the triceps are tricep pushdowns. You can do skull crushers, which is basically lying or standing with a dumbbell. You can do an overhead dumbbell tricep extension. So basically, again, do that same function extension. But the overhead movements, they target the long head much more. You can do tricep push downs to target the long head as well. It's fine. Now, if you're at home, then honestly your best bet would be bodyweight tricep extensions or ring tricep extensions or any sort of band overhead extensions. Like personally, I'm at home and I do these. Like it's called band tricep extensions. You basically grab the band and you just extend, right? And then you also have band tricep push downs. You can attach it to the pull-up bar that we mentioned that you must get if you're training at home, and just do push downs. Very simple. If you have hypermobile elbows or you have elbow pain whilst you're doing these tricep exercises, so if you have elbow pain from tricep exercises, then or maybe you have hypermobile elbows like I do, like this one, right? Then honestly, man, elbow pain is a pain in the butt. So the best thing to fix this, I'm currently struggling with this right now as well, but the best thing that I have learned that I have done to fix this is, number one, go lighter on your bicep and tricep movements. So go with lighter weight and do higher reps, 20 to 30. It's gonna burn, but it's going to cause a lot of blood flow to go in that elbow area, which is again gonna help you heal as well. But another thing that you could do is focus on connective tissue work. I know this is very fancy terms, but basically there's something called a connective tissue in your elbow, and you do basically a lot of high reps to stimulate that, right? I'm gonna leave a video in the description box on from Alpha Destiny about fixing elbow pain. Go watch that if you have elbow pain, and even if you don't, go watch that because it's going to help you prevent elbow pain after this video. Now, forearms. I don't know. Forearms, honestly, don't worry about them right now. Training forearms, I have already included in the program a forearm exercise, which is basically a curl, but it's like the opposite of a bicep curl. So if a bicep curl, you would do like this, right, with the hands facing this way. That curl is with this, right? It's this way or it's this way. You get the point. My forearms are so small, man. I'm insecure about that. Okay, but these will go from all your pulling exercises. In your beginner phase, honestly, adding forearms in would be an overkill because you're a beginner. You've pretty much never trained before, or you might have trained a little bit. Yeah, just don't train forearms for now. You can add them in after your beginner phase, after a year or so. Now, legs. You should probably just go to Max Usada for this one. But basically, your legs consist of the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, and the calves. Let's start off with quads. So for quads, honestly, man, squats are king. Any type of squat that you do will activate your quads to a massive extent, and just getting strong at this movement alone will grow your quads massively. Even for your glutes, they do wonders. So if you're in the gym, the exercise that you can do to build your quads are squats. You can do leg presses. You can do something called a leg extension, which looks like this, and you can basically just extend your knees, and it's gonna activate your quads. Just as you're seeing here, just try and do that. Just extend your knee. So lock out your knee. You can feel the quads. And if you're at home, then honestly, bro, training legs at home is difficult because of the limited equipment. Because since your legs are your legs can handle a lot of weight. They're half of your body. They can handle a lot of weight. So training legs at home is difficult, but some workarounds especially for quads are: you can do pistol squats, you can do Bulgarian split squats, you can do sissy squats, you can do natural leg extensions. That's about it, pretty much, what I can think of. Hamstrings. Big hammies honestly look good, man. But for hamstrings, deadlifts are king. Particularly something called a Romanian deadlift. The Romanian deadlift is simply where you hinge at the hips and your knees are bent a little bit. It maximally activates the hamstrings. As a beginner, the squats combined with the Romanian deadlifts are enough for your glutes. You don't need to worry about that. So if you're in the gym, the exercises that you can do are, again, Romanian deadlifts. You can do good mornings. You can do leg curls, both lying and sitting. And then you can also do a glute ham raise on the glute ham machine. If you're at home, it's a bit difficult, but again, you can do Nordic ham curls, Nordic hamstring curls. You can do Romanian deadlifts if you have a backpack or you have a couple of dumbbells. You can do banded leg curls, and you can also do glute raises. Sheesh, bro, this guide is long. It's the second day of recording this, and inshallah I can wrap it up today. So let's get started with calves. Calves are the one muscle that I hate to train, most people hate to train, and it is extremely painful to go to failure on calves. No cap. Honestly, man, I'm not even fit to explain this. I'll link a Jeff Nipper video down below if you want to go into detail as to how to grow calves. But in general, the way that you grow calves is simply by doing an exercise called the calf raise. At home or at the gym, you pretty much do the same movement because that's the only thing that you can do to grow your calves. So standing calf raises, seated calf raises with a backpack if you're at home, or if you're at the gym, then you can use the machine, standing or seated calf raise machine. Honestly, man, just become obese and lean down. That's the best way to grow calves. Neck and traps. Man, the neck is such an underrated muscle. It makes you look so much more jacked. If you look at a guy who has an excellent physique, but he has a small neck, and you look at him up top, just like, for example, if you would see the photo, you would just see him from this position, right? Like, you would see him like this. And if he had a small neck, he'd look like he was a skinny boy. No joke. He'd look like he was a skinny boy. That's how important the neck is. And it's not only for aesthetics. The neck is in general important for your health, because the neck, it helps reduce something called exertion headache. So basically, when you are pushing to failure on specific exercises, for example, handstand push-ups, you can get a headache just because of the amount of exertion and because of the amount of blood flow that went into your head. And neck training will help you reduce that. I read this comment once under Alex Leonidas's videos. It was about this guy who got into a car accident, and he walked, like, I think, was it 3 miles or something, to the hospital. He was supposed to pretty much break his neck, but the only reason it didn't because he had a 19-inch or 20-inch neck that he used to train. That's pretty much just a good enough reason to train neck, man. And it's no surprise why boxers, why wrestlers, all these fighters, they train their neck as well. I mean, just look at Mike Tyson. I have linked some videos in the description box that you can watch if you want to grow a bigger neck, if you want to start training neck right now. Because truth be told, traps are something that you do not need to worry about right now because you're a beginner. Suppose that. Neck and calves. If you do not want to, then don't train neck and calves. But it is good practice to start training them right now, because you pretty much just decrease the time you have with a skinny neck and toothpicks for calves. So if you are at the gym, the exercise that you can do for your neck and traps are simply 4-way neck machine. If you do have this, you're blessed, bro. Shrugs, both dumbbell and barbell, as well as something called a trap bar. Then you have the farmer's walk. The farmer's walk and shrugs are pretty much for your traps. You can use the 4-way neck machine at the gym to train your neck. So the exercises that I'm about to list right now can be done at home or at the gym. They are the neck curl, the neck extension, neck side raises, band/harness neck work. So if you can use a harness, that will be like ideal. But if you don't, then just use a band. Just use a band. And you also have the wrestler's bridge. This is something that I recommend that you be careful with. I have never ever done the wrestler's bridge because it's a risk, man. It's a risk. If you do it with the wrong technique, then you can pretty much snap up your neck and you might just die. So yeah, at home, you can, for traps, you can do, again, if you do have dumbbells, then you can use dumbbells. Otherwise, you can use a backpack to do shrugs, or you can also do something that I found really, really interesting. It's a upside down shrug, where you basically get on the gymnastic rings or the pull-up bar. I told you to get one. And then you just start shrugging. I don't know how you make this harder, though. I think with weight. You can search up all of these exercises on YouTube for detailed tutorials. I might have B-rolls of each of them running, I hope, because this is going to take a long time to edit. Now, to piece this all together, I have created 2 workout programs for you. A program is simply where I'm taking you from a extreme beginner level position to a beginner who is about to go into the intermediate stage. If you're going to train at the gym, I have you covered. If you are going to train at home, I have you covered. So let's get started with the warm-up first. Now, the first thing to do is to get your body warm. It's a warm-up. You need to get your body warm. You need to get the your body temperature up. You need to get the blood flowing. So just do a couple, maybe, I don't know, just do 50 jumping jacks. Maybe if you're at the gym, then do 5 to 10 minutes on the treadmill, on the stationary bike, whatever. Just get your get your heart rate up. You don't need to exhaust yourself, because the purpose of a warm-up is simply to prepare you for the workout. It's not to exhaust yourself. Afterwards, do dynamic stretching for the body parts that you will train on that day. So for in this case, the split is going to be full body. That means that we are going to do dynamic stretching for our entire body. Simple. If we were doing push day, for example, if we were training chest, shoulders, triceps, you'd pretty much do dynamic stretching for chest, shoulders, and triceps. No need to do dynamic stretching for legs on a push day, for example. But the split is full body, so we are going to do dynamic stretching for the entire body. The dynamic stretching routine that I have found amazing for full body is as follows. So you have a couple wrist exercises that I have on screen right now. You pretty much just go forward, then you go backward, then you just do this type of thing. I don't know. Then you have shoulder rotations, both sides, 10 to 20. So you do about 10 to 20 reps, all like clockwise and then anti-clockwise. Then you have 10 shoulder dislocations. These are excellent for opening up the chest area that may feel a bit tight because all of us are so hunched up lately. Then we have 10 to 15 band pull-up parts. After that, I just crack my back just because. And then you have 10 Cuban rotations. Do these pretty much no weight or very lightweight, right? You don't want to do anything. It's just this motion, right? And it's to get the back of your shoulder warmed up, the rotator cuff, because that is going to decrease your chances of injury by a lot. Just don't go heavy on this specifically, because if you do, then yeah, you're gonna end up in the hospital. That is enough for the upper body. Then we have, for the legs, front and back leg swings. Do 10 to 15 of those on each side. Then you have side leg swings, opening up the adductors, the inside of your thighs, for around 10 to 15 reps. Then we have a squat to hamstring stretch, which is actually pretty darn good. It feels good. If you can't touch your toes, then just bring your hands up so you don't have to worry about touching your toes. Do that for about 10 reps, and then you just do some ankle mobilization. Get into a squat, just lean a little bit on your ankles, come back, lean a little bit on your ankles, come back. Do that for both sides. Then go near a wall and then just do the same, but step a comfortable amount away from the wall such that your foot does not lift off the floor. Now, static stretching. Do not do that. You've seen people like they stretch here for like 30 seconds, then they stretch this for like 30 seconds, then they do like, I don't know, something like this for like 30 seconds, then they do something like this for like 30 seconds. No, you don't need to do that, because static stretching, just don't do that, man. Now, the reason static stretching is something that you shouldn't do is because it increases the range of motion available to you, and that range of motion wasn't previously accessible to you. So when you were just normal, cooled down, then that wasn't available to you. But when you stretched out, you got slightly more flexible. That extra flexibility range is a range where you are not stable at all. Your muscles are stable. You don't train in that range. You aren't stable. So if you, whilst doing an exercise, go down to that range, especially when you're approaching failure, the chances of injuring yourself increase by a lot. Now, after this, start warming up for the exercise that you will do. So let's say if I was training at home, I'll give the gym example as well. Let's say I was training at home, and let's say my main movement was push-ups for the chest. That means I would warm up with incline push-ups, then knee push-ups, and then normal push-ups. So let me explain. Incline push-ups, it's like super easy, right? You keep your hands on an elevated surface and then you just push. I do that for around 5 to 7 reps. After that, I just rest like 30 seconds to a minute, and then I do knee push-ups, but I do that for around 3 to 5 reps. And then after that, I rest for 30 seconds to a minute, and then I would do a normal push-up for 1 rep, and after that I'd take a 1 to 2 minute rest, and then I would start my actual set of push-ups. If you were doing something with weights, for example a row, then in that case I'd first just start off with less than 50% of my working weight. So for example, if I was doing 60 kilograms, then I would pretty much just do less than 30 kilograms, so around 20 kilograms or something. I just do that for like 10 reps. Then after that I would again rest 30 seconds to a minute. Then I would do 50% of my working weight, so in this case 30 kilograms. If my working weight was 60 kilograms, I do 30 kilograms for about 5 reps. Then again 30 seconds to a minute. After that I would do 75% of my working weight, which would be around 45 kilograms. I do that for around 3 reps. Then after that I'd do again rest 30 seconds to a minute, and I do my full weight. So my full working weight, in this case 60 kilograms, I do that for just 1 rep. And then after that I'd rest 1 to 2 minutes, and then I will start my actual set. Again, remember, the purpose of the warm-up is not to exhaust yourself. It's simply to prepare your body for what's coming. The section that you all have been waiting for, the workout. So first off, like, I actually recommend starting off with home workouts, starting off with calisthenics. Because it will help you build a base. It will help you build a solid foundation. And then after that, you can start going to the gym. You'll actually be stronger than most people are when they start. For example, when I've pretty much done calisthenics for like 2 years, right? And then when I just started doing weighted pull-ups, when I started doing weighted push-ups, when I started just implementing a little bit of weight, I was already pretty strong at them. For example, I could pull about 45 pounds, so around 20 kilograms for a 1 rep on the weighted pull-up after doing pull-ups for 1.5 to 2 years. I could bench over 135 or 60 kilograms just because I did push-ups. And if you're worried about form, you may actually be safer starting at home. No cap. Because calisthenic movements, or just bodyweight movements in general, they are pretty darn easy to grasp. It might take a bit of time, like a couple weeks, but then the form will be solid. It's how I started, and I would not change a thing. Even though I made a ton of mistakes, I would still start off this path. I would start off at home. Just push-ups, pull-ups, squats, etc. Now, if you don't have fun at home, or you just want to go to the gym, just by all means, go, bro. It's cool. It's cool. It's just an alternate path that I just wanted to present you, because obviously I'm making this full guide and I want to include everything. So first I'm going to cover the gym workouts. If you are a complete novice, this workout program is going to be for you. A complete novice is someone who has not done any exercise at all. You are a complete beginner. You might be a fat video gamer, or you might be a skinny video gamer. You pretty much did not do any exercise whatsoever 1 to 2 months prior to watching this video, or just 1 to 2 months prior to the gym. You didn't do any exercise, then this workout program is going to be for you. So on Monday we have either hack squats or we have barbell squats for 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps. The number before the X is the number of sets, and the numbers after the X are the number of reps that you do per set. So then you have the barbell bench press for 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps, plus a dumbbell row or a seal row for 2 sets of 10 to 12. What this means is that it's a superset. So a superset is basically where you do 1 exercise and then you immediately follow that up with another exercise. In this case, these are antagonist muscle groups. That basically means it's the opposite of the muscle group that you train. For example, in this case, you're training chest first through the barbell bench press, then you are training back through the dumbbell row. The reason we're doing supersets, just to save time. If you want to not do supersets, then by all means, it's your choice. But I highly recommend supersets. I started with supersets and I was fat as heck. You can see that in the picture. So yeah, if I can do it, then you can as well. Rope tricep extensions for 2 sets of 10 to 15. And then that supersetted with dumbbell curls for 2 sets of 8 to 10 reps. And then the last superset that you have is cable lateral raises for 3 sets this time of 10 to 15 reps, supersetted with crunches for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. So I got these workout programs from a very, very amazing fitness creator on YouTube. His name is Natural Hypertrophy. I pretty much just got these from him, and it's because if I were to create some, they would be very, very similar. So I was just like, I just use his because he has more experience than me, and I want to give you the best thing possible. I did alter up a few things, but yeah, besides that, it's a solid program. I highly recommend that you follow this one. Wednesday, barbell overhead press for 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Then you have a neutral grip lat pull down for 3 sets of 8 to 12, and that is supersetted with leg curls for 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Then after that, you do cable flies. I told you, for chest you can do other flies or a press. The reason we're doing flies over here is because we already did a overhead press, which is pretty not heavy as well. That's already one press in our workout, and for you, it's already quite a lot. Then after that, we have cable flies for 3 sets of 12 to 15. And then that is supersetted with leg extensions for 3 sets of 10 to 15. And then you do another thing, which is hammer curls for 2 sets of 8 to 10. So basically you do a set of cable flies, immediately follow that up with a set of leg extensions, immediately follow that up with a set of hammer curls. And you do hammer curls for those 2 sets. So that means that for your third set, you're just going to do cable flies and leg extensions. The reason I paired 3 movements together is because all of these are very, very easy to do. Like, these movements aren't gonna have you like going, I'm dying, someone call 911. That nothing's gonna happen, bro. And then lastly, you have neck curls. Again, this is optional, but if you are gonna do them, just do them for 3 sets of 20 to 25. Like I said, it's optional if you want to train neck right now or not. And then we have last day, Friday, Romanian deadlifts for 2 sets of 8 to 10, and that is supersetted with seated calf raises for 2 sets of 15 to 20. Again, I recommend that you do calves and neck, but if you don't want to do them, then just screw it. Then you have dumbbell bench press for 3 sets of 10 to 12, and that is supersetted with dumbbell preacher curls for 3 sets of 8 to 10. And after that, we have our last set for the day, which is leg press for 2 sets of 8 to 10, and that is supersetted with skull crushers for 2 sets of 10 to 12, and that is supersetted with leg raises for 2 sets of as many reps as you possibly can. Simple. Now, the reason we are doing a 3 times per week full body split is simply because that is the best, in my opinion, for a beginner, because you get around 48 hours of recovery between each session, and it's not enough to burn you out in the gym. If I kept you in the gym every single day for an hour or an hour and a half, 6 days per week, you'd burn out and you'd quit before things even started to get good. Now, the second workout program, beginner. If you did any sports before, or you do have some light exercise experience, for example, I played football for years before even starting to work out, and I also did do a bit of light exercise before December 4th, 2020, when I actually started. So on Monday, you do barbell squats for 3 sets of 4 to 8, or you do hack squats for 3 sets of 6 to 10. Then you do bench press for 3 sets of 6 to 8, and that is supersetted with dumbbell rows for 3 sets of 8 to 12, or cable rows for 3 sets of 10 to 15. Pick either one exercise, it's completely your choice. Just pick one and stick to it. Then you do rope tricep extensions for 3 sets of 10 to 15, or you can do some katana extensions for 3 sets of 10 to 12. Completely your preference. I would actually start with rope tricep extensions, especially if you have hypermobile elbows like me, these types of elbows. If you have these type of elbows, I recommend just not doing katana extensions first. I recommend starting with the rope tricep extensions. And that is supersetted with easy bar curls for 3 sets of 6 to 8, or dumbbell curls for 3 sets of 6 to 10, whatever you feel like doing. Then after that, we finish off with the cable or dumbbell lateral raise for 3 sets of 10 to 15, and that is supersetted with crunches for 3 sets of 8 to 10. Then Wednesday, that is where you do a barbell overhead press for 3 sets of 6 to 10, or you can do a dumbbell overhead press for 3 sets of 8 to 12. Then you do neutral grip pull-ups, or what's written here, neutral ups, for 3 sets of 4 to 7. Thing is, you might not be able to do pull-ups, but that's why we started off with that pull downs. But even if you can do around 4 to 7, then I just recommend just going with neutral pull-ups, because in my opinion they are a superior exercise to that pull down. Now you can either do pull-ups, or you can do a neutral grip lat pull down for 3 sets of 8 to 12, and that is supersetted with leg curls for 3 sets of 12 to 15. Then we have split squats for 3 sets of 8 to 12, or leg extensions for 3 sets of 10 to 15. At this point in the workout, you may not be able to do split squats just because cardio and stuff. And then you superset that with dumbbell fly press So dumbbell, again, you might not be able to do another press. I don't know. It completely depends on you. That's why I've included dumbbell fly press for 3 sets of 10 to 12, or cable flies for 3 sets of 12 to 15. And that is again supersetted with hammer curls for 3 sets of 6 to 10, or reverse curls for 3 sets of 6 to 12. It's completely your choice which one you want to go with. Just pick an exercise and stick to it. Neck curls for 3 sets of 15 to 20, which is optional. However, at this stage, I do recommend highly that you start training neck. Now Friday, Romanian deadlifts for 3 sets of 6 to 12, plus a seated calf raise for 3 sets of 15 to 20. Then we have the incline press for 3 sets of 6 to 10, or the incline dumbbell bench press for 3 sets of 10 to 12. That is supersetted with dumbbell incline curls for 3 sets of 8 to 10, or Bayesian curls for 3 sets of 12 to 15. Then we have leg press for 3 sets of 8 to 12, or we have Smith machine squats for 3 sets of 8 to 10. That is supersetted with skull crushers for 3 sets of 8 to 12, or we have French press for 3 sets of 8 to 10. And that is lastly supersetted with hanging knee raises, 3 sets of as many reps as possible. So you can see how it is a bit higher in volume. It is a bit higher in the exercise selection. You know, you're doing 3 sets instead of 2 now. But if you do have a sports background like me, then you will be able to handle it simply because you have the work capacity to actually do so. So these two programs alone, like if you start off with like beginner, novice, and then you move on to like beginner, these two programs alone can pretty much help you milk all the newbie gains, all the beginner gains that you have. But in case you progress fast because you're some sort of a genetic freak, the beginner 1.1 is a very good program, after which comes intermediate in natural hypertrophy's program, the beginner 1.1 program. So on Monday, you do barbell squats for 3 to 4 sets. Now see, you're doing 3 to 4 sets now because you can actually handle that volume, because you've pretty much just, bro, think about how much volume you were doing when you were in the beginner stage. I mean, I'm talking about the beginner program before the beginner 1.1 program. You were doing a lot of volume. But now you need to acclimate yourself, because you are, once you become intermediate, you need to do a lot more volume, you need to do a lot more sets, a lot more reps, etc. Therefore, you need to acclimate yourself, and this beginner 1.1 workout is perfect for that. Again, thank you Natural Hypertrophy for these programs. So on Monday, you do barbell squats for 3 to 4 sets of 4 to 8 reps, or you do hack squats for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps. After that, you do some dips for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps, or you can do a bench press for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps. That is supersetted with dumbbell rows for, again, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps, or you can do cable rows for 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps. See, I've added dips now. Again, do dips if you can do them. If you can't do them, there is no big deal. I personally cannot do dips because it hurts my shoulder and my sternum. So yeah, just try it out. Then we do rope tricep extensions for 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps, or you can do katana extensions for 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, and you do that supersetted with an easy bar curl for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps, or you can do a dumbbell curl instead for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps. Then we finish off with cable or dumbbell lateral raises for 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps, and then you can do crunches for 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Then that is your Monday finish. You just go home, chill, whatever. On Wednesday, you do the barbell overhead press for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps, or you can do a dumbbell overhead press for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. After that, you do either neutral grip pull-ups, or you do neutral grip lat pull-downs. If you're doing neutral grip pull-ups, which I recommend more than that pull-downs, because I might just be biased because I just love pull-ups, you can do neutral grip pull-ups for 3 to 4 sets of 4 to 8 reps, or you can do a neutral grip lat pull-down for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. And then you superset that with leg curls for 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps, or you can do hyper extensions, which is very much for the lower back, but it's also good for the glutes and the hamstrings. You can do that for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. After that, you do split squats or leg extensions. If you're doing split squats, you do 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Or if you are doing leg extensions, you do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps. You superset that with a dumbbell fly press for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps, or a cable fly for 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. And then you superset that again with a hammer curl for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps, or you do a reverse curl for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps. After that, you just do neck curls for 3 to 4 sets, 15 to 20 reps, or you can just do neck extensions for 3 to 4 sets of 15 to 20 reps. I don't have an option right now because honestly, man, just you should go for neck now. I want you to train neck now. At least if you're approaching the intermediate stage, you should be training neck. Now Friday, you do Romanian deadlifts for 3 sets of 6 to 12 reps, and that is supersetted with calf raises for seated calf raises for 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Then you do leg press for 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, or you can do Smith machine squats for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Again, depends. I personally don't like the Smith machine. I've tried it a couple times. It's very uncomfortable on the shoulders. Then you superset that with either machine rows for 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, or you superset that with incline rows for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. And then lastly, you finish off with face pulls. We're starting to train the rear delts a lot more now. As you are approaching the intermediate stage, you should be training rear delts more, because again, it reduces the chances of injury. So face pulls for 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps, and that is supersetted with hanging knee raises for 3 sets of 8 to 15 reps. And then you notice we have Saturday now. So you're training 4 days per week, and you have 2 days that go back to back. That is because when you're in the intermediate stage, you do train back to back. For example, I'm trying to train 4 days per week. It's an upper lower type of split. So it is upper body, lower body. Then I have a rest, and then I do upper body, lower body. Then I have 2 days rest. To approach that stage, this is getting you in a sense acclimated, and you are training similar muscles. This is in a sense getting you acclimated to that. So on Saturday, you do incline bench for 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps, or you can do an incline dumbbell bench press for 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And you superset that with dumbbell pullovers or machine pullovers, completely your choice, because pullovers are very good for the lats as well. I personally don't do them, but Natural Hypertrophy does recommend them. So dumbbell pullovers or machine pullovers for 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. And then after that, you do dumbbell preacher curls or Bayesian curls. If you're doing dumbbell preacher curls, you do 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Or if you're doing Bayesian curls, you do 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. And you superset that with skull crushers, 4 sets of 8 to 12, or French press, 4 sets of 8 to 10. This workout alone will get you, if you just follow through this progression, it will get you so far. Jeez, bro, this takes a lot of time, bro. Dang. Man, this is very time consuming, but I'm actually enjoying a lot. I just hope that it benefits you guys, bro, inshallah. Now, home workouts. If you are training at home, this is for you, man. So if you're at home and you are a complete novice, like we discussed earlier, the one who pretty much has not done any exercise at all whatsoever, then in that case, Monday, you do push-ups, progression-based, for 2 sets of 8 to 15 reps, and that is supersetted with a body weight row for 2 sets of 8 to 15 reps. Let me explain what progression-based means. Progression-based simply means, so push-ups are not like the bench press, right? And the bench press, any single person can do it. Even if you just press a broom, you would still be doing a bench press. It's very much scalable. When it comes to home workouts, they are much more difficult to scale because it's just your own body weight. So in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to look up how to do a push-up on YouTube, or you're going to do push-up progressions on YouTube, and you'll find a list of exercises that will help you get to the push-up if you can't do a push-up. And once you can do push-ups comfortably and you want to move up a level, then in that case it will also show you how you can make the push-up harder through different variations. That is essentially what we're doing, and that applies to every single exercise, from push-ups, bodyweight rows, squats, everything, literally everything. So you're going to do push-ups, progression-based, 2 sets of 8 to 15 reps, and that's going to be supersetted with a body weight row for 2 sets of 8 to 15 reps. I told you to get the rings. And this is again going to be progression-based. Then you have squats, which are progression-based, 2 sets of 8 to 15 reps. After that, you have band or ring tricep extensions for 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps, and that is supersetted with band, ring, or dumbbell curls for 2 sets of 8 to 10. Completely your choice which one you want to go with. Then we have dumbbell or back lateral raises for 3 sets of 10 to 15, and that is supersetted with crunches for 3 sets of 8 to 10. That is your Monday done. Go chill. Then we have Wednesday. For Wednesday, we start off with pike push-ups, which are again progression-based for 2 sets of 6 to 8. You may not be able to do pike push-ups because again, especially if you're overweight, calisthenics is much harder. Body weight is much harder. So if you can't do pike push-ups, no problem. Instead, maybe you can find the alternate of doing, or maybe you can use 2 backpacks and do a dumbbell overhead press. Maybe if you can, go with something like a dumbbell overhead press if you do have dumbbells. Otherwise, if you are going to do pike push-ups, you can do them on an elevated surface. Again, just look up pike push-up progressions and you will find one that makes it easy for you. And if you are overweight specifically and you are going to do at-home workouts, go easy with it first. Go easy, because you don't want your joints damaging because of all the excess weight. And then you do chin-ups, progression based for 3 sets around 4 to 7. And then you do, so that is supersetted with squats, progression based 3 sets of 8 to 15. After that, you do band or ring chest flies for 3 sets of 10 to 15. And that is supersetted with a dumbbell, backpack, or ring hammer curl for 2 sets of 8 to 10. And after that, you do, again, neck curls, 3 sets of 10, 20 to 25. Again, completely your choice, it's optional. Now, after that, for Friday, you can again do push-ups that are progression-based, or you can do ring push-ups, completely your choice, for 2 sets of 8 to 15. I recommend push-ups progression-based, actually, and then you can do ring push-ups later. And that is supersetted with the body weight row for, again, progression-based for 2 sets of 8 to 15. Then you do something called a Nordic curl. We need to train hamstrings as well. So just search it up and you can, again, do this. This is, again, progression-based. Everything pretty much is progression-based. So you do this for 2 sets of 6 to 12, and then you superset that with standing calf raises for 2 sets of 10 to 30, which is, again, optional. Then you do band or ring tricep extensions for 2 sets of 10 to 12. And then you superset that with leg raises for 2 sets of as many reps as possible. That is your novice workout complete. So let's go on to the beginner workout. So for the beginner workout, honestly, man, the beginner workout is a step up. It's pretty much the same thing, but you are doing 3 sets instead of 2. So I won't discuss that. And then the beginner 1.1 workout. Now this is where we do an upper lower workout. This is where we train 4 days per week. So Monday is going to be our upper body day. Monday, handstand push-ups, progression based, 3 sets of 5 to 8. Again, I've just wrote handstand push-ups here. If you can't do them, completely fine. Go into pike push-ups, that's fine. That's why I've written progression based. So all the progressions that lead up to the handstand push-up, you do those. By the way, this is on the wall, not freestanding. So you do that for 3 sets of 5 to 8, and then you superset that with pull-ups. So you can do either any variation, or you can do weighted. It's completely your choice. It's completely your call. You can do 3 sets. You're gonna do 3 sets of 5 to 8. Then you have push-ups, which are, again, weighted or progression based. It's completely your choice. You do that for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 reps, and then you do body weight rows. Again, weighted or progression based, completely your call. 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 reps. After that, you do band or ring tricep extensions for 3 sets of 10 to 15. Then you do, that is again supersetted with band, ring, or dumbbell curls for 3 sets of 8 to 10. And that is again supersetted with dumbbell or backpack lateral raises for 3 sets of 10 to 20. And then lastly, you finish off with neck curls for 3 to 4 sets of 20 to 25. I want you rating neck. This is not optional anymore. Tuesday, pistol squat. Okay, on legs at home are hard to train, bro. When you were a beginner, it was easier because, I mean, yeah, you already struggle so much. But now that you're becoming close to intermediate, you need more volume for the legs, which is why I have you blast your legs right now. This is gonna be painful. If you honestly, man, if you can just do heavy squats, deadlifts, etc. for the legs, that would be ideal. But you gotta make do with what we have. So in this case, Tuesday, you can also get a weighted vest, by the way, or you can just fill your backpack with weight as well to make the exercise harder. So on Tuesday, we have pistol squat, which is progression based for 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 20 reps. Then you have a Nordic curl hinge. So you start that as well. It's again progression based for 3 to 5 sets of 6 to 15 reps. After that, you have something called a natural leg extension which is again progression based for 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 25 reps. Then you have a wall sit this is like a burnout. That's again progression based for 3 to 5 sets of 30 to 120 seconds, so around 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Then you have a superset of single leg standing calf raises for 3 to 5 reps, for 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 40 reps, because I mean you're with your own body weight, so yeah. And then you superset that again with bent leg calf raises for 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 40 repetitions. Then Wednesday you rest. So Thursday, again, it's an upper body day. You have dips, which are again weighted or progression based, and you so basically do those, or you can do deficit push-ups that are again weighted or progression based. Deficit push-ups, I personally do them. I can't do dips. So you do that for around 3 sets of 8 to 15 reps. After that, you superset that with pull-ups, and then you do a different variation. If you are doing variations, you do a different variation for Monday. If you are doing only variations, do a different variation. Even if you are doing weighted, do a different variation of that weighted exercise. For example, let's say if you were doing variations, let's say you did a pause pull-up on Monday. Well, now you do a 1.5 rep pull-up on this Thursday. If you are doing weighted pull-ups, then you might just do weighted chin-ups. Just change up the variation because it is important for elbow health. Now you're going to do this for 3 sets of 5 to 8 reps. And then we have push-ups. Push-ups again, weighted or progression based, and this is again going to be a different variation from Monday. You do 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 reps, and then you do body weight rows, which is again going to be weighted or progression based, and you do a different variation from Monday, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 reps. Then you do band or ring tricep extensions, 3 sets of 10 to 15. You superset that with band, ring, or dumbbell curls for 3 sets of 8 to 10. And then you superset that with backpack or dumbbell lateral raises for 3 sets of 10 to 20. And then you do neck curls for 3 to 4 sets of 20 to 25 repetitions. Then we have Friday, which is again your leg day. Step up, progression based, 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 20 reps. Nordic curl, progression based, 3 to 5 sets of 6 to 12 reps. Then you have something called a sissy squat that is again progression based for 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 20 repetitions. And then you superset that with a glute bridge that's again progression based for 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 40 reps. Then you have a single leg standing calf raise for 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 40 reps, and that is supersetted with a bent leg calf raise for 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 40 repetitions. Holy bro, this was so time consuming, bro. You can see that I put a lot of effort into this guide, man. If you are finding this helpful as of now, please share it with someone who you believe can benefit from this, and give this video a like, man, and subscribe if you want more content similar to this. And also, just for the YouTube algorithm, comment something below. Now, we rest about 1.5 to 3 minutes between compound movements. So movements like the pull-ups, squats, leg presses, etc. And we rest 1 to 2 minutes between isolation movements. So the bicep curls, the tricep extensions, the lateral raises. Right? So how do you progress? How do you apply progressive overload? It's very, very simple. Let's say you have 3 sets of 4 to 8 repetitions. So let's say your first set, you get 7 reps. The second set, you get 6 reps. And the third set, you get 4 reps. Well, you have 7, 6, 4. Next time you are going to do that movement, you try and beat that. So you might get 8 reps. You might get 6 reps again on the second set. But you might get 5 reps on the third set. That is completely fine. That is like actually very, very good progress. That's good progress. Even if the second set remained static, the third set still went up, so you still did more than last time. Remember, progressive overload is doing more than last time. You still did more than last time? Great. Then next workout you might try and you might get 8, 7, 5. Then okay, completely fine. The third set remains the same, completely fine. Then the next workout you might try, you might get 8, 8, 7. Then you might get 8, 8, 8. And then as soon as you get 8, 8, 8 for all these sets, you bump up the weight by about 2.5 to 5 kilograms, whatever. I personally just do 2.5 kilogram increments. In my opinion, it's very good. But as a beginner, you might be able to add 5 kilograms on movements like the squat. So you keep doing this one thing. Again, you maximize the amount of reps, increase the weight, drop back down, etc. Keep doing this. Now, what about when you have 3 to 4 sets of 4 to 8 reps? What do? Well, once you maximize and once you get 3 sets of 8 reps, then you add a additional 4th set. You do the same until you get 4 sets of 8 reps. And once you get 4 sets of 8 reps, then you drop back down to 3 sets and you increase the weight, and then you repeat the cycle again and again and again. How do you know when you should go from the complete novice workout to the beginner workout to the beginner 1.1 workout? Well, there are a couple signs. When the volume is starting to feel low, when you feel like you need more volume to progress, at that point just move up. So signs of this would be, for example, you're fresh after your workout. You're still pretty done. You feel like you could have done more. For example, let's say you were doing the complete novice workouts that were 2 sets, right? Let's say after doing that entire workout, you felt like, man, I can do more. I know I should do more. I feel like I want to do more. Well, that is great. The spirit of progression is amazing. At that point, just move up. And this is going to be about this. So, and then you might stay in each workout for about 3, 6, 8 months, whatever. Doesn't matter. As long as you are progressing, and as long as that volume is sufficient for you, keep doing that. But as soon as you feel like you feel like you could do more, you feel not so drained after your workouts, at that point you should just move up. Now, if you want to keep making progress in your workouts, you need to do this one thing, and that is track. You need to track your workout. You need to know how many reps you did, how much weight you did. what progression you did last time. You are not going to remember any of that. Trust me, bro. You have terrible memory. You are not going to do any of that. Like, you don't even remember what you ate for lunch 3 days ago. And you're going to tell me that you're going to remember. No, you cannot remember. That's why you need to note your workouts down somewhere. Now, the gym workouts, I haven't done this for the home workouts, I'm sorry, because it's just the app, but for the gym workouts, I've made them in an app called Strong. Strong will basically allow you to save these workouts with you. So Strong will basically help you track your workouts. In no way I am affiliated with them. It's just a great app. I personally just track. I used to track on Strong. Now I track on my notes. So basically, I have the workouts in the description box below. You can just copy and paste them into the notes section of your phone, and then you can just note them right there. For example, I show you a small little screen recording of my workout tracker. This is how I track. Very simple. This is honestly the easiest way to ensure that you are progressing with the overloading. If you did 7 reps last time and you did 8 reps right now, you progress with the overloading. You build more muscle. It's as simple as that. Now, how much weight do you use? Well, to be very honest, it's subjective. The best thing that I can say is just to experiment. Look at the amount of reps, right? Look at the exercise, and just honestly ask. Don't ego lift. Don't lift for your gym class. Lift for yourself. So just ask yourself, how much weight do I feel like I can push for this? Whatever weight that you think. For example, let's say I tell you to do 3 sets of 10 reps on the bench press. Well, realistically ask yourself, how much do I feel like I could do? Maybe I could just do 25 kilograms. Whatever weight that you think, do a little bit less than that. So maybe do 22.5. And if it feels easy, no problem. You can up it next workout. So if you get any abnormal pain, any bad pain, any joint pain, not the muscle soreness, that stuff is good. But any bad pain, pain in your joints, pain in your freaking, just bad pain. Go on YouTube and search pain from that exercise. For example, pain from bench press, pain in elbows from bench press, pain in shoulder from bench press, or something like pain in elbow from pull-ups, elbow pain from pull-ups, something like that, right? And most likely it's going to be a form issue. But during the workout, when you get that pain, abandon that exercise. Don't do that exercise, and don't do any exercise that simulates that same muscle. Let's say you were doing bench press and you felt something in your shoulder. Well, if you were to do push-ups, you might just feel the same thing because, again, it's the same muscle group. So in that case, you can still train triceps, right? So you go and train triceps. And don't touch that exercise for a week. At least for a week, just leave it. And once you go on YouTube, you likely find some stretches, and you likely find some better form cues that once you implement after a week, you try out that exercise. And once you do that exercise again, do it with lighter weight. Don't do it the same way that you did last time. For example, if you were doing 30 kilograms on the bench press last time for 3 sets of 10, maybe start off with 3 sets of 20 kilograms. Then next week, you can do 22.5, then 25, right? Because you are going to be able to jump to 30 within a couple of weeks. But this is the best way to deal with some sort of bad pain that you have. Now, the last part of this absolutely massive chapter, it's almost been an hour since I've been recording, and this is only from the cap section, but cardio. Cardio doesn't kill your gains, man. The notion that cardio kills your gains is stupid, because the people that say that pretty much don't re-eat the calories that they burn after doing cardio, and as a result, they say cardio kills your gains. Like, do you want to build your dream physique, your dream body, but not maximize your health in the process? Now, cardio is essential for good health, and cardio can literally be anything that gets your heart rate up. So, for example, it could be football, it could be skipping, it could be burpees, it could be whatever. I personally enjoy football, I enjoy running, and I also enjoy skipping. So just pick the one that you like that is low intensity, so it does not interfere with your workouts. Like, for example, running or something like skipping. Those are low intensity. For me, football is low intensity. I just love it. Just make sure that you enjoy it and it's low intensity so that you can stick to it. Even walking is a good one. If you walk 20k steps a day, bro, you're fine. Now, one thing that I recommend is to do cardio on your off days. So, for example, if you're training 3 times a week, just do it 4 times a week, man. Just do just do some skipping. You want to go play football? Do a little bit of running. Maybe do some walking. Walk around the block. I don't know. Just do some cardio on your off days, man. And in fact, it's actually going to keep you more accountable, because when you do cardio, you will burn calories, and you will have to re-eat those calories so you don't lose weight. I mean, if you lose it, then that's fine, but you will still have to re-eat those calories, because otherwise you're gonna either, one, lose weight too fast. Number two, if you're trying to gain weight, then you're just gonna lose weight or just gonna maintain weight. So it's gonna keep you accountable, which is amazing. And lastly, cardio will help you increase your lifts, because it increases your work capacity, which is basically the amount of work that you can do in a given time. So in essence, it's the amount of work that you can do in the gym. If you could do 3 sets but you were gassed by the third set, after doing cardio, you might just be able to do 4 sets and still be fine. That's great, right? That means more gains. Whew. So finally, training section is done. Now it's time to move on to the next one. Chapter 3, diet. Diet was something that I overcomplicated so much as a beginner, because you have so much contradicting information online about diet. Someone says do this diet, do that diet. It's a big mess, to be very honest. So I'm just gonna give you the clear-cut principles that you can use for your beginner phase, or even further for your diet. First things first. Go and download Go and download an app called MyFitnessPal. And second, get a piece of equipment called a kitchen scale. Your mom might already have one, so maybe go and ask her. She might be weighing things in the kitchen, so go and ask her. Maybe she might have one. If she doesn't, then order one. The actionable step right now is to order a kitchen scale and download MyFitnessPal. Don't set the app up or anything. Just order the kitchen scale and just download MyFitnessPal on your phone. The big change that we are going to be making to our nutrition is that we will be tracking our food. We're going to be weighing everything that we eat. It sounds crazy, it sounds weird, but I'm telling you, bro, if you can build this habit of tracking your food, then it's going to serve you throughout your entire training career. It's going to be a bit of pain right now, but then your future self is going to thank you for building the habit of tracking your food. I mean, obviously, you don't have to track forever, but if fitness is a serious goal for you, if you truly care about it a lot right now, then doesn't it make sense to do whatever you can to ensure that you make better and faster progress? Like, it's a no-brainer, to be honest. Now, you might be thinking, oh, what will my mom and dad say? Because if they see me tracking food, what would they say, man? Well, first of all, if you truly have this as a goal, then it won't matter whatever they think. And second of all, their respect for you will actually shoot up. Like, they will respect you way more than they previously did, because when they see you working hard towards a goal, a difficult goal that most people don't even achieve throughout their entire life, and it's a goal that you set upon yourself. No one told you to go and get an aesthetic physique. No one told you to, go hit the gym. No one told you to make sure that you're autistically tracking your food, but you are doing that. And when they see that, bro, they're gonna respect you a lot more, especially your dad. Now, it will be hard to track your food for the first couple weeks, probably just the first 1 to 2 weeks. If you can stick out that period, if you can go through that filter of 1 to 2 weeks, when you come out of that, tracking your food will simply be second nature. It's gonna be nothing. It's like in fact, you might just feel weird eating food without tracking. That's crazy, right? It seems crazy, but honestly, that's what happens. You just need to get through that small filter. And bro, it just takes 30 seconds per meal. Honestly, it just takes 30 seconds per meal. Whatever you were going to pour, just freaking put the kitchen scale on the slab and then put the plate on it and then just turn it on and just weigh the food. That's it. It's honestly so simple. It just takes 30 seconds, bro. Not even that long. And I want you to know one thing. The people who make the most progress, the best progress, and the fastest progress towards their dream physique, towards their aesthetic goal physique, all of them track, because it removes any sort of uncertainty. It gives you complete clarity. It gives you, like, I'm talking like crystal clear clarity as to what you're eating, how much you're eating, are you getting fat, are you getting skinnier, whatever. It gives you complete clarity, because think about just how most people eat, right? Most people eat in a very anxious way. Because they're always thinking, oh, am I gonna overeat and then become fat? Am I going to undereat and then become skinny? Or they might just look at themselves in the mirror and be like, my belly's coming out. I need to eat less, but how less? And they have all this confusion and all this unnecessary stress in their life because of the way that they eat. But if you track your food, you have complete clarity. Like, you know that you're not getting fat because you're not eating enough to get fat. Simple as that. We'll discuss how to track in a second, but first let's talk about a question that's probably on your mind: bulk or cut? Before we dive in, I'll just tell you first what I did. So you can see in this picture that I am not necessarily fat, but I'm not necessarily skinny fat as well. I'm fat, to be honest. I'm just fat. I'm fat on this picture. I'm not fat, but I'm fat. So what I basically did was that for the first 8 to 9 months, to be very honest, I did not have a kitchen scale, so I could not track my food. To be honest, for the first 8 to 9 months of my training journey, my 1 year training journey, I did not have a kitchen scale. I could not track my food. I fell into the same excuse trap as you did right now, which was, what are my birds gonna say? What are my mom gonna say? What are my dad gonna say? Bro, shut up. So because of that, I again could not track. So therefore, all I did was literally all I did was just eat less and eat healthy. That's pretty much what I did. Like, legit, like, no cap. I'd have about 2 to 3 meals a day. If I had breakfast, then I would skip lunch and then I had dinner. Or if I usually would be like this, that I would skip breakfast and then have lunch and dinner. And if I did have all 3 meals, I just eat less in all 3. It's as simple as that. So I cut out pretty much all unhealthy foods. Like, I'm talking all unhealthy foods. No burgers, no snacks, no crisps, no whatever. No fries, no rolls, nothing. I literally had nothing. And I also quit sugar for 2 months. Like, even on special occasions, I'd only have junk food, not sugar. I quit sugar for 2 months straight. Like, it was hard for the first 1 to 2 weeks, obviously, because the cravings set in, etc. But after that, honestly, it just became easy. And after those 2 months, I'd only have sugar when it was a special occasion. So I'd have eggs for breakfast, and for lunch I'd have whatever my mom made, and then for dinner I'd just have chicken and rice. Yeah, your classic bodybuilder meal, but without the broccoli. Instead of eating 2 roti, I'd have 1 or 1.5, things like that. Then around August to September of 2021, that's when I actually got my hands on a kitchen scale, finally. And that's when I decided to cut. Not like a cut where I'm like becoming Mr. Shredded. I just a simple cut, just lose a bit of body fat, right? Because I was I was like, I can push this, right? So I was eating about 1,800 to 2,200 calories, probably around 1,800 to 2,000. I was eating around that amount of calories, and I started at around 63 kilograms. I ended the cut at around 58 kilograms, and that's where I was looking like this. It seems like 1,800 is too low, but honestly, bro, like, I was satiated. Like, eating more was difficult. 1,800 was like the perfect amount because I did not have breakfast. I don't even like having breakfast, to be very honest, and it was just amazing, man. Just I truly felt good. Before I tell you what to do, so bulk or cut, whatever, understand this: maintenance calories basically means you eat that much such that you maintain your weight. Simple as that, right? It's maintenance, so you basically maintain your weight. Then increasing your calories above your maintenance calories will simply result in weight gain because you are in something called a calorie surplus. You have excess calories left, and those excess calories are again going to lead to weight gain. And a decrease in your maintenance calories. So, for example, let's say your maintenance calories were 2,500 and then you start eating 2,200, then you are going to lose weight. Simple as that, right? Because you are in a caloric deficit, and that deficit basically causes you to lose weight. So when you set up MyFitnessPal and when it asks you, okay, what are your goals, then put in maintain weight, because that way MyFitnessPal is going to give you your maintenance calories. And we want to get you started on your maintenance calories, actually, because once you find your maintenance calories, then at that point it's very, very simple. You just need to add 250 to 500 more, or you need to add 250 to 500 less, depending on if you're cutting or bulking. So whatever maintenance calories MyFitnessPal gives you, just eat at those calories for about 1 to 2 weeks, yeah, and see how your weight fluctuates. Track your weight every single day, see how your weight fluctuates. If it's relatively the same, then that means obviously there's going to be some sort of up and down. It's normal. But if it's relatively the same, then that simply means this is your maintenance calories. You should eat at whatever amount of calories that MyFitnessPal gave you. That is your maintenance calories. If your weight is dropping, then that simply means that you need to increase your calories by 250 to 500 more, because the maintenance calories were actually lower than your actual maintenance calories. And if your weight is increasing, then honestly just decrease your calories by 250 to 500, because that means that the maintenance calories MyFitnessPal gave you were greater than your actual maintenance calories. I hope it makes sense. Investing time into finding your maintenance calories is worthwhile, because after that it's so easy to either bulk or either cut. Now, if you are fat, or if you are in a similar position to how I was, in that case, literally do what I did. Like, copy me. Literally do what I did. Start at your maintenance calories. Eat at those calories for as long as possible, and then and also cut out all unhealthy food, all sugar. Just try and cut that out. It's gonna be hard for the first 1 to 2 weeks, but honestly, man, it's a worthwhile investment for your health and for your training. So as you eat at maintenance because you're training as well. So in reality, you are going to be in a slight caloric deficit. So that's going to cause you to lose weight. So once you're losing weight, what's going to happen is that it's going to go down, 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 and then eventually it's going to stop at a certain point. It's going to take about a week or two to find out, okay, your weight has actually stopped. It's not going down anymore whatsoever. At that exact point, you reduce your maintenance calories by 2.5 to 5%, right? And then you keep doing that because obviously what's going to happen is that once you reduce your calories by 2.5 to 5%, what's going to happen is that your weight is going to start dropping again and again and again and again and again. It's going to stop at a certain point again. And then at that exact point, what you're going to do is you are going to reduce your calories again by 2.5 to 5%. And you're going to keep doing this until you are at 10 to 15% below your maintenance calories. So let's say, for example, your maintenance calories were about 2,200, right? Then you're basically going to reduce those calories to a maximum of 2,000 if you're doing 10%, and 1,800 or 1,900 if you're going to do 15%. And by the way, this is a process of months. Like, it's going to take months for you to go through this process. It's not going to be like this, right? It took me 8 to 9 months. I was pretty much just eating a little less than maintenance, or just at maintenance, for like 8 to 9 months. And I still lost a lot of fat. But after that, that's when I purposely cut. So once you've reached that point of where you're at 10 to 15% of your maintenance calories, at that point, what's gonna happen is that you're going to have a new maintenance calorie number, right? Because truth be told, your weight is gonna go down. Then simply you are going to need a different amount of calories to maintain that new weight. So what you're gonna do is, again, you're gonna trial, you're gonna experiment, you're gonna figure out what are your new maintenance calories by, again, experimenting with the calories. And then once you find that out, then you can start eating at maintenance again, and then you can start bulking, because you are at a much more healthier body weight, and you are going to reap more benefits from bulking, more benefit from gaining weight, more benefit from just being able to be in that stage where you're building muscle. You're going to have to gain more benefit from that. So that's why we are going to a slight cut, and then we are going to, inshallah, go for a massive bulk, because your fat reserves are enough. Like all the fat that you have around your stomach, right? That's going to be enough to actually support you, even if you eat slightly less than your maintenance. Now, if you are on the opposite spectrum of things, if you are extremely skinny, you are lean, you are skinny, or even if you are skinny fat. By skinny fat, I mean you have your arms are like twigs, but you have this weird puffy fat around your stomach. If you look like that, or if you're extremely skinny, extremely lean, then in that case, honestly, just do the complete opposite, right? Bulk. So start at maintenance, right? You are going to gain a lot of strength from that. You are going to gain weight from that, maybe as well. And then what's going to happen is that eventually that weight gain is going to stop, and then all the strength gains, all the extra weight that you were packing on in the gym, on the barbell, that's going to plateau. That's going to stop, right? If it stops for an entire week, that simply means that you need to increase your calories again. So increase them by 2 to 5% of your maintenance calories. And then once you, again, are going to start gaining weight, up, and then it's going to stop again. And at that point, you need to, again, increase your calories by 2.5 to 5%. Eventually, that's going to go on until you're pretty much in a full-on bulk. And a bulk can be considered around 500 calories above your maintenance, right? So once you're at that point, then honestly, it's fine. Because as a skinny guy, as an extremely skinny guy, or even as a skinny fat dude who has pretty much zero muscle, in that case, you can you can eat up to 1,000 calories. Like you can eat up to 1,000 calories above your maintenance. Let's say your maintenance was around 2,500 calories, then you can eat up to 2,500 calories and still make a lot of gains. Just remember that you will gain fat, man. You will gain fat. There's no way around it, right? But we talked about this, right? You are in it for life, so it shouldn't really matter if you gain a lot of fat. It shouldn't really matter if you lose that six pack for that six pack, even though it actually wasn't a six pack. I know that if you are skinny fat, you want to get lean, you want to get rid of that body fat. But to be very honest, it's not the productive thing to do, because once you lose that body fat, you're pretty much gonna look like a skinny twig, because you have no muscle. So what we first do in terms of skinny fat is you actually build the muscle first, and then you lean down. Bro, newbie gains plus a good diet that helps you gain weight sustainably, and a good program like the natural hypertrophy one that I've covered, you are going to be flying, man. It's amazing. Man, you're gonna be flying, bro. Now this bulk that we will run, it will be for around 6 to 12 months. Yeah, 6 to 12 months is a good timeline for you to run a bulk. No less than 6 months, because to be very honest, just go for it, bro. Just no less than 6 months, right? And during these 6 to 12 months, what you're again going to be doing is going through this entire process of eating at your maintenance calories, your weight stopping, and then you again increasing your calories, your weight stopping, and then you again increasing your calories, and this is going to go on all the way up till the 6 to 12 months. So when should you stop? When you've hit the 12-month mark, or when you've become like fat, when you've when you've gained over 20% body fat, and you just feel so fat, you feel sluggish, you feel unhealthy. At that point, you can stop the bulk, obviously, but it should still be within the 6 to 12 month range. Now, getting back to tracking calories, it's honestly so simple. I'm probably running a video right now of tracking calories, but what you basically do is you keep the kitchen scale on the kitchen slab, whatever, and then you put your plate on it while the kitchen scale is off, because you don't want the kitchen scale to obviously weigh the plate, right? So once you've done that, then you basically turn on the kitchen scale, and then you basically pour whatever food you're doing. In this case, I don't know whatever I am putting in the plate. I think it's rice and chicken, I don't know, but let's take rice and chicken as an example, right? Let's say you want to eat 250 grams of rice. Well, then you keep adding rice to the plate until you have 250 grams of rice, and then you add, let's say you want to add 125 grams of chicken breast. Then in that case, you turn off the kitchen scale, and then you turn it back on so that it can weigh the chicken breast alone, and then you basically add the chicken breast until it is around 125 grams. After that, honestly, just go to MyFitnessPal, type in whatever. Let's say in this case it was boiled rice. Then you just go find that food, you add in the amount of grams that you had, and then you just press tick. Simple. It's gonna be added to your food log. And then you search for the chicken breast. Let's say it was just grilled chicken breast. Then you find that food, you add, let's say 125 grams in this case, and then you just press tick. It's gonna add it to your food log, and then boom, that's how you track food. And you can do this for a lot of foods. But if you're like, I can track my mom's food, I'm having a heart attack. Bro, it's very simple. Honestly, in tracking mom's food, yeah, you cannot track it as accurately, but you definitely can track it to the best of your ability. Let's say that your mom made rice and chicken curry. Well, the rice is very simple. You just track it. I don't have to explain that. But chicken curry. So what you basically do is that you try and remove all the curry on the chicken first, right? And then you basically add the chicken separately. Now, obviously, there is going to be a bit of curry on the chicken. That's unavoidable, but you can still remove it to the best of your ability. So you basically just try and get all the curry out of the chicken, and then you basically just put the chicken into your plate, and then you basically track it. Simple as that. And what about the excess curry? Or honestly, just go and search gravy on MyFitnessPal and just add that in. It's an estimate, but I mean, it's still better than nothing. Man, tracking will get you so far ahead. It will get you so far ahead. It will get you so much better and more satisfied progress because you know how much you're eating, you know how much you're tracking, you have complete clarity about what you're eating. So let's talk about the 3 macronutrients. Protein. Honestly, man, I'll just keep this simple. We all know protein is the most important macronutrient for muscle growth. It's what fuels muscle growth. If you don't eat enough protein, then you are going to remain a skinny twig for the rest of your life. Simple as that. So how much protein should you eat? Honestly, it differs, but 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight is very simple. So let's say, for example, you weigh 100 pounds, which you shouldn't be, but let's say that you weigh 100 pounds, then in that case, you should eat around 80 to 100 grams of protein per day. It's simple as that. Because eating protein triggers something called muscle protein synthesis. To be very honest, I don't understand it as well, but I believe it's the, call me out if this is bro science, but I believe that it's your body releasing protein to build muscle. I don't know, it's something like that, right? But what happens is basically that we want this to be as elevated as possible, right? So if you can get it elevated like this, boom, 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 you know, like that, that's like the best case scenario. But honestly, you don't need to worry about that much. What matters more is getting your protein intake, daily protein intake, right? If you do want to optimize for muscle protein synthesis, honestly, just eat every 3 hours. Every 3 to 4 hours, I believe, is the best way to keep muscle protein synthesis perfectly fine. But that's again if you want to optimize things. If you don't really care about it, to be very honest, and honestly it doesn't make that big of a difference, then in that case just focus more on hitting your protein target. Even if you are going to optimize for muscle protein synthesis, just make sure that you're hitting your daily protein intake, because that is the more important factor. That's like the 80%. Carbohydrates. So carbohydrates can basically be divided into 2 types. There's simple carbohydrates and then there is complex carbohydrates. So simple carbohydrates are like the things that you shouldn't eat. Like there's things like Coke, there's things like sugar, there's things like donuts, ice cream, whatever. All the things that you've been told that are bad for you as a child, those are basically considered simple carbohydrates and you should not eat them. What instead you should be eating are complex carbohydrates. So these are things like oatmeal, these are things like brown rice, these are things like quinoa, things like that. Complex carbs are what give you energy, and they also make you look bigger because they fill up your muscles. It's why bodybuilders eat like 400, 500 grams of carbs before their show day. Thing is that complex carbs are difficult to overeat. Bro, like how much oatmeal are you gonna eat? You eat just a little bit and you get full. Like that's why if you're on the fatter side, man, complex carbohydrates are the way to go. But things like rice, they do, especially white rice. I mean, that comes in the simple carbohydrates category, but that is less satiating. So I mean, you can overeat that. But most things like, for example, you know, quinoa, things like oatmeal, they're very difficult to overeat. So as far as sugar goes, which is again a simple carbohydrate, honestly, just start to hate it, man. Just, I mean, you can have some every once in a while, but just start to hate it and just think of it as regret for your future self. To simplify the whole simple carbohydrate, complex carbohydrate thing, just think of 300 calories of rice or potatoes or quinoa or oatmeal versus 300 calories of ice cream, donuts, chocolate, whatever. They're not the same, right? Makes sense? Fats. I mean, fat is something that has a bad rap in society. It has a bad rap in the whole fitness industry thing. But honestly, bro, fats are good for you. Fat is very filling and dense. Like, fat is like very filling and dense. And so it actually causes you to eat less. So fat actually helps you not get fat. Especially, I'm talking like about the healthy fats, not the processed stuff. It's healthy fats. Because truth be told, people on low fat diets, they tend to be hungry constantly. They tend to, honestly, they tend to have constant hunger because their fat intake is so low. You know, they suffer from things like overeating, they have hormonal imbalances, they have heart problems, they have like headaches. Honestly, it's not a good sight to see. So things like avocados, butter, peanuts, meat, whatever, like these things are good for you. Like olive oil as well. They have something called healthy fats, and so they're extremely important for things like hormonal balance. So how much fat should you eat? Around 60 to 80 grams is good, but if you really want to dial down, then just eat half of your body weight in pounds. So let's say that you weigh 100 pounds, then in that case you should eat around 50 grams of fat. If you weigh around 180 pounds, then in that case you should just eat 90 grams of fat. So just that's like the way to optimize things, but 60 to 80 grams is the general good guideline. Now, to be very honest, focusing so much on how much fat you should eat, how many carbs you should eat, that stuff is it's fine. It's fine for extra like optimization, but honestly you don't even need that. Like I've never ever ate by tracking my macronutrients. I've never been like, oh, I need to eat 65 grams of fat today. Oh, I need to eat 264.65 grams of carbs today. No, I've never done that. Honestly, if you want to like just simplify this whole thing, then just simply focus on protein and hitting your calorie intake. Simple as that, right? You don't, because you will naturally just hit the carbs. You'll naturally just hit the fat intake. It's as simple as that, right? But if you do want to optimize things, then honestly, I'll give you the best macronutrient split that you can have. So figure out how much protein that you need to eat first. Again, 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Let's say that you weigh, for this example, 100 pounds. In that case, you need to eat every single day 80 to 100 grams of protein, right? Then figure out how much fat that you need to eat. So half of your body weight, in that case, it will be around 50 grams of fat every single day. So in that case, you have your protein, which is around 82. Let's say that you're eating 80 grams of protein every single day. So you have your protein, 80 grams, and then you also have your fat, which is around 50 grams. So however many calories that takes up, let them take up that many calories, and then fill the rest in with carbohydrates. Whatever calories that you have left, just fill them up with carbohydrates, and then you also figure out how many grams using MyFitnessPal. I personally didn't ever track my macronutrients and like besides protein, and honestly, I just, if you want to keep things simple, which I actually recommend, just track your calories, track your protein. Track your water intake as well. Drink a lot of water, man. Water is good for you. Your body is like, I don't know, like 70% or something made of water. So yeah, drink your water. I drink around, this is around 1.2 liters. I drink around 2 to 3 of these a day. So you can safely say that I'm getting about 2 to 3 liters of water every single day. And that's just optimal. That's like, because if you're hydrated, then everything's better. Meal timing. So when it comes to meal timing, you don't need to optimize that much. I mean, if you want to, then that's great. But if you want to keep things simple, like, honestly, it's not so necessary. It's just you just super optimizing things. But what I used to basically do was simply wake up, do 2 to 3 hours of work, and then I'd have my first meal. Then 3 to 4 hours later, I have my second meal, and then 4 to 5 hours later, I'd have my third meal, and that's pretty much it. But if you do want to optimize things, then this is the way to go. Try to have protein every 3 hours, 20 to 25 grams every 3 hours, like we discussed earlier in the protein section. For your pre-workout meal, have a mixture of carbohydrates and have a mixture of a protein source. Eat those two, and eat that around 1 to 2.5 hours prior to your workout. Then for your post-workout meal, again, very simple, have a protein source and then have a carbohydrate source. Have it around, again, you can have it immediately after your workout, or you can have it around 1 to 2.5 hours after your workout. At the end, just have a high-fat meal. Like, for example, I eat Greek yogurt. I enjoy that a lot, so I'd eat that as dessert. Now, the most anticipated topic, the topic that you have been waiting for, supplements. First things first, you do not need supplements, right? The people that tell you that supplements are necessary, without supplements you won't be able to make gains and things like that, they are simply trying to rob you of your pocket money. Simple. Supplements are literally what they sound like. Supplement, right? They are a supplement to your diet. You should be getting majority of all the macronutrients from your diet, from real food. But if you, again, if it's a convenience issue, or for example, you might not be able to cook so much, or for example, you just want to not cook as much, not eat as much, then in that case, supplements are a great way to go. They are certainly beneficial, but again, I just want to emphasize that you do not need them. That is one of the biggest misconceptions people of my age have. I need supplements. No, you don't. It's just your favorite bodybuilder on roids is taking supplements, so that's why you want supplements as well. Personally, I've never ever taken supplements consistently. I've had like less than 10 scoops of protein powder in the 2.5 years, the 3 years that I've spent training. I've never ever taken creatine. My parents don't buy it, so yeah. But if you are going to take supplements, then only 2 are worth your money. Number 1, protein powder. And number 2, creatine. So protein powder is simply the byproduct of cheese. It's literally powdered food. But again, if you are skeptical, then don't get it. But if you are going to get one, then you can, like, whey is the best one, whey protein. But if not everyone can have whey because it has lactose in it, and so people who are lactose intolerant cannot have whey protein, especially with milk. If you have it with milk, then I feel sad for you. But you can also get things like vegan protein powder, you can get pea protein powder, whatever. Just test things out and just find whatever one that you want and mix it with either water or milk depending on whatever feels good. For example, I've only had it with milk, and even after having it with milk, my stomach felt a bit iffy. So just, yeah, figure out whatever is fine for you. And if you are going to have it with water, then again, that's also fine. This depends. If you are lactose intolerant, I highly recommend you test out other protein powders as well. For creatine, just take 3 to 5 grams, which is usually around just 1 scoop every single day for the rest of your life. Simple. Now, if you want to learn more about nutrition, then I'd recommend getting started by watching the video called, or it's a like a lecture, nutrition lecture called Fat Chance 2.0. Highly recommend watch that. It's a very good lecture. Chapter 4, sleep. Sleep is one of the most, like I'm talking, one of the most important things when it comes to hormonal balance, when it comes to recovering from all the stress that you put yourself whilst you're in the gym, when it comes to making progress in the gym. Sleep is one of the most important factors because you need to recover from all the stress that you put your body through. I'm fairly new to improving sleep. I've just started this, but I have a couple of tips that I believe can help you. So the general recommendation is to get around 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and I feel like that is a good one because, to be told, everyone has different amounts of sleep needs. For example, some people, like for example Dr. Zaganai, he can survive on 3 hours of sleep somehow. I don't know. You have people who need 8 hours of sleep. You have people who need 5 hours of sleep. It's very different, right? But I still believe that as lifters, as people who go to the gym, as people who want to transform their body, we should sleep 6 to 8 hours every single day. Seven is like perfect for me, but you should sleep around 6 to 8 hours every single day, because the amount of stress that we put our body through is not something that the average man does. Because all the statistics that you see on sleep are pretty much from average people, and average people do not lift. Average people do not put their body through insane amounts of stress. We maximally exhaust our muscles 3 to 4 times per week, like multiple times per week, and that is a lot of stress on our joints, our bones, our muscles, our connective tissues. It's a lot of stress on them. So I still feel like that you should sleep 6 to 8 hours every single night. Now, obviously, don't skip Fajr. Like, that's stupid. Like, don't be stupid, man. Don't skip Fajr. Still pray your tahajjud, you know. You can cover that sleep after Fajr. Everyone says that you shouldn't sleep after Fajr. And to be very honest, if you can not sleep after Fajr, like I did not sleep after Fajr today. If you cannot sleep after Fajr, then that is the perfect scenario. That's the ideal scenario. But if you do need to, then I still recommend that you go to sleep after Fajr, because everything's better when you're not sleep deprived. If you are sleep deprived and you still stay awake after Fajr, that is going to affect you throughout the entire day. It's not just your worldly activities, it's everything. Your prayers are going to suffer, your Quran memorization is going to suffer, your ability to recall and remember is going to suffer. So I recommend that you still go ahead, sleep, and get in the amount of sleep that you need. Prayers and memorization, everything, that's all better when you're not sleep deprived. So to improve sleep, the first tip that I have for you is to sleep and wake up at the same time every single day. Sleeping and waking up at the same time, in a sense, prepares your body. It builds a rhythm in your body, something called a circadian rhythm, right? It's basically that your body realizes, okay, let's say that you sleep at 10:30 p.m. every single night. Well, your body realizes, okay, well, 10:30 is when we're going to go to sleep. Right? It obviously doesn't know the time, but it knows right about the point where you are going to go to sleep. So it knows that, okay, 10:30 p.m. we're going to go to sleep. So it starts releasing all the hormones that you need to go to sleep at that very point in time, right? At that exact time, because it knows, okay, this is the point that we are going to go to sleep. And then when you wake up at the same time every single day, the magic is that you don't need an alarm clock to wake up, that you do not need an alarm clock to wake up. Your body, in a sense, knows, okay, this is wake up time, let's wake up. Simple as that, right? Number 2, get sunlight after waking up. I've heard this a lot from Dr. Andrew Huberman, and it's for a good reason, man, because what I've learned is that there is a hormone in your body called cortisol. There's a chemical or a hormone in your body called cortisol, and that is responsible for waking you up. And the best time for it to be released is early day, when you've just woken up. That is the best time, because cortisol wakes you up and it makes you aware, and getting direct sunlight does exactly that. And then it also allows cortisol to maximally be released, so you're just maximally awake. And it also preps you for better sleep the following night. So on bright, cloudless days, what you should do is simply go and have sunlight for around 5 to 10 minutes. Simple as that, right? And if it's a cloudy day, then around 10 to 20 minutes is the better time. And then if it is a like an overcast day, it's about to rain, whatever, like it usually is in the UK, then in that case 30 to 60 minutes might be what you need. And if there's literally no sun at all where you live, then in that case just get some sort of an artificial device or something. Also, you can wear spectacles like these, it's completely fine, just don't wear sunglasses. Number 3, reduce bright light at night between 10 p.m. to around 4 a.m. That is the time where you should not do any screen or any bright light, whatever. Now, obviously, this is not possible for every single person. For example, I live with my parents, and so it's kind of difficult to explain this to them because they just think that it's weird, whatever. But you know, if you go to the masjid as well, you know, you have bright lights all around. So again, it's difficult to control for every single person, but you can still control it to the best of your ability. Like, for example, not viewing your phone after 10 p.m., things like that. The thing is that your body is not used to seeing bright light at night. So you're in a sense destroying your circadian rhythm. You're in a sense destroying your ability to have a good night's sleep by viewing bright light at night. Number 4, avoid caffeine 8 to 10 hours before bed. I personally don't drink coffee or anything like that, any caffeine source. I do not drink it. But if you do, then just limit it to 8 to 10 hours before bed. Number 5, and also, by the way, if you're like me and you feel like it doesn't affect you or whatever, it does. It's just, you can still have better sleep if you go to sleep without having coffee. Simple as that. Number 5 is to limit daytime naps to less than 90 minutes. Or just don't nap at all like I do. Number 6, keep the room that you will sleep in cool and dark. Your body temperature needs to drop by 1 to 3 degrees for you to have a good night's sleep. And also to stay asleep, because one of the reasons that you wake up at night is because your body temperature is increasing, right? You've probably done this, right? If it's so hot, then you have 1 foot out of the blanket and whatever. It's because there are pores in your foot, but in order to avoid that, what you can do is have the room at a cooler temperature and pile on the blankets as you need to. Instead of increasing the AC temperature to 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 when it was 18, instead just pile on the blankets, because you should keep the temperature of the room exactly as it was. Number 7, try to get the same amount of sleep every single night. I know this is not possible every single time, but in general it is good practice to get the same amount of sleep every single night, because I saw this one clip from Huberman and he was saying that most people think that getting more sleep is better, but it's actually better to get the same amount of sleep every single day. For example, let's say that you think more sleep is better, so one day you sleep 6, next day you sleep 9, the other day you sleep 8, the other day you sleep again 5 because of some reason, then you again sleep 9. So instead of that, like this weird wave with your sleep, go smooth. 7 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours. That is much better. I highly recommend that you spend a few weeks testing out the tips that I've given you. And if you actually want to get started on this journey to improve your sleep, then go and watch the Sleep Toolkit podcast by Andrew Huberman. I've linked it in the description box below. It is an amazing podcast. Highly recommend that. Just don't get paranoid about this, right? I know, because thing is that if you get paranoid about something, especially something like sleep, if you get paranoid about it, then you are going to basically have a type of insomnia. It's weird how it works, but if you are less stressed about sleep, then you are going to have better sleep. And if you are more stressed about sleep, because again, stress is stress, then you're just going to have poorer sleep. The more you worry about sleep, the worse your sleep gets. Chapter 5, extras. Congratulations, brother. You have pretty much all the knowledge that you need to crush your first year of lifting, to crush your beginner phase of lifting. 95% of people have not made it here, but you did because you wanted bad enough. Pat yourself on the back, bro. Pat yourself on the back. Before we end off this full guide, I just want to give you a couple of tips that I believe will help you a lot. Number 1, do you keep skipping workouts? You might be missing days entirely. You might be going 2 days instead of 3 days per week. You might be going 4 days per week instead of 6 days per week. If you're in this case, then watch the segment. I have been working out consistently for almost 2 years now. I've never ever struggled with consistency. Okay, there was a period of time where for like 3 to 4 weeks I did not work out at all. But besides that, I've pretty much just worked out consistently. And I've never really struggled with getting into the flow of working out. And I simply, because I just enjoy it. I just love it. It's just a lot of fun for me. So if you are struggling, then just try and make the gym more fun somehow. But I do have a couple tips for you that I learned from Hamza in his discipline guide. Number 1, make it a part of your routine. If you go to the gym at random times, if you go to the gym whenever you have time, whenever you are free, then in that case, you are pretty much never going to go to the gym because you are not prioritizing it. It is not a part of your routine. It is not a part of your schedule. So in that case, what you should do is you should go to the gym the same time every single day. So let's say that you decide that 3 p.m. you're going to go to the gym every single day. Well, in that case, when 3 p.m. arrives, you don't have to question whether I should go to the gym. It's just a part of your life to go into the gym at 3 p.m. every single day. For example, for me personally, it's either in the morning, 12 to 1 or 9 to 10, or it is either in the evening, Asr to Maghrib. Completely depends. Right now it's Asr to Maghrib, so around 5:30 all the way to around 6:30. That is my time to work out. So just spend 2 minutes right now just thinking, okay, what time can I realistically work out every single day at, right? And the reason I recommend going every single day is because you build the habit of doing exercise every single day. Let's say that your gym program is 3 days per week. Completely fine, no problem. What should you do the other 3 to 4 days per week? In that exact time slot of, let's say, in this case, Asr to Maghrib. Well, personally, I just do cardio, I just train neck, I do connective tissue work, things like that. Just do some sort of exercise every single day at the same time. So you can do your weight program, let's say 3 days per week. You can do that 3 days per week, and then the other 3 to 4 days per week, you can do cardio, you can train neck, etc. Things like that. Number 2, habit stacking. So stack this gym habit that you want to build on top of an already existing habit. For example, for me, it's literally I come home. For me, it's Asr because I pray Asr prayer and then I just come home and I wear my shoes and I just start working out. Simple as that. It's a habit that has been stacked onto a pre-existing habit, which is praying Asr prayer. For you, it may be, for example, getting home from college, changing your clothes, and then just going. Because whenever you come home from college, you change your clothes. That is a habit. So after you change your clothes, then just go. Simple. It's as simple as that. Number 3. So I know that if you are lying in your bed, you're cozy, all wrapped up, it's grueling to think of you doing barbell squats. I know. So what you need to do is you need to take it one step at a time. You need to think of, okay, what steps should I take right now? So just don't think about the peak, the full battle. Instead, think about you preparing for the battle, you preparing to climb that peak. So if you're lying cozy in your bed, then what you can at least do is remove the blanket. You can do that, right? Then you can get up and then you can go change your clothes. You can do that, right? Then you can maybe put in your AirPods, put in a podcast, right? Then you can maybe go and wear your shoes, right? Then you can grab your car keys and then hop in the car, right? And then you can drive to the gym, right? And then you can start warming up, right? And the next thing you know, you are hitting that set of squats that you were imagining you can do. It's all taking it one step at a time. Remind yourself of this because you will forget this. Number 2, self-education and knowledge. I'll be the first to put my hand up and say that self-education is extremely important. Gaining knowledge is extremely important. Think about this. The people of knowledge in any domain are praised the most, are respected the most, are the most wise. Tend to be the most wise. For example, students of knowledge, scholars in Islam, they tend to be some of the most respected people. That's for a good reason. They have a lot of knowledge, right? And so they can make better decisions. They know better things. They know, okay, how do I decide between difference of opinions, etc. And even Allah Azza wa Jal, He praises people's knowledge in the Quran. In Surah Zumar, ayat number 9, say, are those who know equal to those who do not know? Only they will remember who are people of understanding. Even an entrepreneur that I mentioned in the start of the guide, Alex Ramosi, he says that the difference between where you are now and the difference between where you want to be is the how. And what is the how? That is simply the knowledge. So knowledge is extremely important, but what I'm about to say might shock you or might sound weird. I recommend not consuming any fitness content, at least for your beginner year. At least for the first year, or at least up till the point that you are a beginner. Because, truth be told, it can lead to program hopping, it can lead to paralysis by analysis, it can lead to you constantly doubting whether you are doing this well or not, whether you are doing whatever you are doing right or not. And it's a bit of a controversial take, but how do you get around this? Well, you just simply research, you just simply watch a video, you just simply watch YouTube fitness videos whenever you need them. Let's say that you want to figure out, okay, what is an alternative tricep exercise that hits the same head of the tricep. In that case, yeah, sure, go ahead, research. But just watching YouTube fitness videos for fun, I'm talking about not the informational ones, not the ones where you see like people working out. That go ahead, watch those. But like, for example, the ones that Alex Leonidas posts, the one that National Hypertrophy posts, the one that Jeff Nippert posts, those types of videos, don't watch them as often. Don't only watch them when you need to, because I'm telling you, it can lead to paralysis by analysis. It can lead to you wanting to program hop. It can lead to you wanting to change things up again and again and again and again. But if you still want to consume, then I've already warned you. If you can fight the temptation to not change whatever you're doing, then go ahead and watch. But if you cannot, then just stay away. And then after your beginner phase is over, after your intermediate phase has started, then in that case, go ahead and start consuming information, because now you actually need it and you actually have somewhere to apply it. Watch the Alpha Destiny video, commit to your program. Number 3, sugar and junk food. This is gonna sound extreme. Not everyone in the fitness industry will tell you to do this, but honestly, just quit sugar, quit unhealthy food. It's as simple as that. You know it's bad for your health. You know it's bad for your aesthetics. You know it's bad, pretty much bad. The only good thing that it has is that it can help you get in calories, but even then, those are not the best calories, because not all calories are the same. We know junk food is not good for us. We know sugar is not good for us. Then why do we keep inducing self-harm? For example, it's been 4 months since my father has quit sugar, and he says that it has been one of the best decisions he's ever made in his entire life. He's lost quite a bit of weight. His life quality has gotten so much better. His cravings have pretty much died down, and his energy levels are much more stable now. Before, he said that it would just be like eat breakfast in the morning, then there'll just be some sort of a massive crash in the afternoon. But now he says that it's relatively stable. He doesn't feel as hungry. And one interesting thing that he told me was, after a few weeks, he honestly did not even feel like eating sugar. Basically, there's this special Pakistani dish called kheer, which has sugar in it, right? And he ate it every single eat, but this one he did not. He did not eat it because he was off sugar, and he just said that I don't feel a craving for it. I was like, dang, that is respect. So if he can do it, you can do as well. Obviously, special occasions, like for example, Eid are an example. He just didn't want to, but you can have them. You can have sugar on special occasions, but day to day, no way, bro. No way. If you are struggling with this, then watch Hamza's Willpower Guide. I've linked that in the description below. Number 4, a social media fitness detox. This is probably like about seeing all these men on social media who are on roids, but they claim to be natural, and then even seeing all those who are so far ahead of you in the journey, who have been training for 10 plus years, and you look at them and then you're like, these are freaks of nature and I cannot be like them, and it just discourages you. And because most of these guys are lean, then it just gives you body dysmorphia, and you just feel like, I'm not lean enough, I'm not big enough, it's a recipe for mental disaster. Like, you have this obsession with being lean, and it's literally I faced that, right? I've gone through that. That's why I wasted 1.5 years. Like, I was obsessed with being lean. So just detox from social media fitness, man, because it's not, because comparison is natural, right? Everyone compares themselves to someone else, but the problem is that it's not a fair comparison. Nothing on social media is a fair comparison. And even worse, it can cause you to have goals, like for example, staying lean, that you did not even give 2 craps about, and in fact negatively affects you. And one more thing is that it negatively affects your mental health. Mental health is extremely important for your well-being, especially as a teenager. As far as the obsession with being lean goes, man, I've already discussed this, but as teenagers, we should be fine with fat gain. We should be fine with losing our 6-pack. It's a part of the process. We can gain it right back. Just detox, bro. Just detox. Now you have all the information you need to get started on this path, on this beautiful path of lifting, on this beautiful path of working out, on this beautiful path of building your dream physique. The knowledge that I've given you is enough to far surpass me. It's honestly, it pains, it hurts a little bit, but you build yourself while you build others, not the other way around. You don't build yourself up and tear others down. That's not how it works. So I honestly hope that this guide has served you, man. To my younger self, stop watching so many YouTube fitness videos. All you gain is confusion, body dysmorphia, constant program hopping, a lack of progress, and lower self-esteem, poor mental health. Just implement the info in this guide, and inshallah, God willing, you will make a lot of progress. Do me one favor, please. Send this to anyone who you believe could truly benefit from this guide. I've put like 10 hours, more than 10 hours into this guide. Scripting, thinking, recording. Like, I just hope, please share this to anyone who you feel could benefit from this information. Maybe someone who's training wrong, maybe someone who's just getting started in the gym. maybe someone who was out of the gym and now wants to get back in, maybe someone who wants to build an aesthetic physique and is just getting started in the gym, just please send this to them. That being said, I will see you in the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.